morning, everyone, and welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis. It's 7 o'clock. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Brooke Grimsley and Super Bowl champion Kerry Davis. I'm Randy Carricker. It's great to have you with us here on 101 ESPN. Hope you kids had a great weekend. How's everything going?
Sounds like we're on the submersible.
In a tin can. Live from a tin can. The opening drive.
What if it sounds like that to everyone else, or it's just
us?
That's kind of
You
weird.
just heard it.
Yeah. Like an echo.
Well, you can text in. You can text us on the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO, if you think that we sound tinny to you. The other thing you can do is just hop onto the old YouTube machine and then type in 101 ESPN STL, and we'll see. It says now on the YouTube machine that we're in a break and that we'll be right back.
Oh, there it is. I think we're back to normal.
Are we? Okay, good. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew's going,
The audio engineer is trying to figure out how to engineer.
Randy, we might have a little issue here because what was causing the problem was when I was potting up the 360 machine.
Oh.
So we might be 360-less for a little bit until we get that figured out.
Somebody said...
My machine here?
Yes, your instant replay machine is not. That's the pot that's causing the issues. I potted that up, and then we started sounding wacky because it's down right now. If you guys want to converse.
Try it now. Oh, there we go. Okay, something's happening. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. I pressed the wrong button. Okay.
All right. Well, let's see.
Wait. I'm not hearing it now.
Okay,
there you go.
Let's. Okay, how's that? Everything good?
Hey, we're good.
Oh, okay.
We're back.
Somebody
Go ahead,
said...
can you hit me with a drop, Randy?
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
It is.
All right, we're back on course. We're good.
It is.
Yeah.
Somebody...
Yeah.
Randy, somebody said that it's...
That's hell.
We got to go through all of them.
Yeah.
Too high, lady.
Somebody said that it sounded like we were in a tuna can, and then somebody said it sounded like we were in a submarine.
A submersible, perhaps?
Submersible. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, it was going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. So anyway, it's great to have you with us. Hope that everybody's weekend was good. Everybody have a nice warm weekend?
Oh, it was warm.
I stayed in the house yesterday.
Play?
I stepped out one time because I didn't get the mail on Saturday, and so I went to check the mailbox, and it was hot, man.
It was.
It was ridiculous. At 7:30, it was still 90 some odd degrees. So I'm like, ooh.
We don't need that. We needed, because like on Friday, we were going to be the new San Diego, which, by the way, is getting hit by a hurricane, so you don't really want to be that either.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
That can't happen here, right?
Well, you didn't think it could happen in San Diego. It's been 4 years.
Randy, hurricane.
Oh, yeah, that's what they had.
A hurricane. That sounds terrifying.
In Ojai, California. Ojai.
Oh, no.
California. Ojai.
So warm here.
It's too toasty.
When you start getting weather. Like, do you start worrying once what you get hurricanes in California?
Yeah.
You're getting the heat wave here. We're accustomed to the heat, but when all of those things start to happen at the same time, it kind of scares me a little bit.
So, Carrie, I'm not scared because I turned 61 over the weekend. I'm scared for you guys, though. I'm scared for you guys.
Why are you scared for us?
Because the world is going to end.
Oh, not the doom and gloom. How was your birthday, Randy? It was
great.
Randy Palooza all
was
week.
all week.
Yeah,
but
it was
yes.
great. Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks to everybody who made it so fantastic. And you guys were fantastic. And friends and family, they made it great. So it was cool. And then the Cardinals rewarded me yesterday, finally, with a victory. Friday night I was at the game, and it was not great, but Mason Wynn got his first major league hit, so that made it exciting. And my buddy and I, Chris Murphy, that were there, we looked at it as a win because of the Zach Thompson performance. The Cardinals lose 7-1, but that's at this time of year with this team, Zach Thompson, that's a win, right?
Yeah, you're just evaluating talent.
Yeah, exactly. And then Saturday, he couldn't really find things that made it a win. It was kind of difficult.
No,
but then yesterday, after that creep Pete Alonso hits another home run to make it 2-1.
He's pretty good at baseball.
He is. But can we talk about that moment just briefly?
On Friday?
He did that on purpose,
yes,
right?
He did. Yeah.
So he said from what I've heard, he's apologized profusely.
That's great.
Yeah, he didn't. Some people say, he's a great baseball player. This might not be the brightest baseball player.
Well, and he's a Richard.
Oh, that as well. That's probably part of it.
Richard Pete Alonso? I don't have to look it up. I think that's his name.
Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah.
So anyway, yesterday he had a home run in the 4th inning, but the Cardinals, Paul Goldschmidt said, oh yeah, Pete, guess who the MVP of the National League is?
High fly ball toward left. Nimmo on the run, at the track, at the wall. It's gone. How did he hit that?
The dulcet tones of one Chip Carey on Bally Sports. So the Cardinals led by a score of 3-2. That was the score with Goldie aboard in the 7th.
All the hydrating. You got to start a couple days early for a game like this.
There's a liner into left. That's going to drop for a base hit. They're going to wave Goldie around. The throw will be to short. No play at the plate.
Number 40, Wilson Contreras with the base hit to make it 4-2. And then the Cardinals built upon that lead with one of their stud rookies.
Little number over first. That's going to drop for a hit. That's going to score another run. The Cardinals have them at 2nd and 3rd, and they've got a 5-2 lead.
Thanks to Jordan Walker, and you think, okay, 5-2, and you're getting contributions up and down the lineup, but the Cardinals brought up Mason Wynn, okay, and he got his first game on Friday. We had a tendency to overlook Richie Palacios.
I mean, we got plenty of them. You want the
base hit up the middle. 1-run scores. Here comes Walker streaking around. And the net result of this inning is a big frame for the Cardinals, who lead it 7-2.
Richie Palacios with the base hit, 2 RBIs. Cardinals win at 7-3 over the Mets, and Dakota Hudson is now 5-0 on the season. Dakota goes 5 1/3. He allows a couple of runs on 5 hits. He strikes out 7 and walks only 2. And Dakota, man, you got to feel pretty darn good about being 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think records, they're great, but I think it's just a really good tip of the cap to how well the team's been playing behind me. Been fortunate to get out there. They've had some run support and had some battles and great defensive plays. I mean, you see Richie robbing a homer in the 2nd inning, and you see Goldie making a lot of diving plays out there. It's fun to play baseball with guys that are getting after it like that. Tommy as well.
It's fun to play baseball when Dakota Hudson is your starting pitcher.
It's fun when you're performing well. I mean, the big conversation yesterday was his slider and how much they credited that. He credited that for his recent run. It's been his wipeout pitch, and it seemed to have everyone on their heels, especially yesterday. What you're looking for with Dakota Hudson is he able to have more swing and miss, but also keep the walks down. That's the biggest thing, especially when you're evaluating the starting rotation moving forward. You want to know, is he going to be able to do this consistently? Oli Marmol mentioned repeatability, and right now he's repeating those performances where he looks pretty good out there. I
like the fact that even though they were down 2-1 with after the Alonso home run, they didn't give in, they didn't quit. Goldie came up, got his home run, and they were able to get back into that game, and Dakota Hudson kept battling. That was brutal yesterday. Watching Wilson Contreras behind the plate, looking at the umpire, like, it was a time where they panned to Wilson Contreras, and he was just standing like, it was so hot. And so for the pitcher, for the catchers, for everyone that is out there to continue battling, to get down and still come back and get the win, that gives you a glimmer of hope for this future. Yeah, and then I want to give Adam Wainwright some credit as well for his performance on Thursday. Yes. He battling through in the manner in which he did, even though he didn't get the win. Just continuing to fight. That was probably the best outing we've seen from him in a few starts. So kudos to him also. Yeah,
and by the way, kudos as well to the genius Cardinal president of baseball operations, one John Mozeliak. I know some of you might be down on him a little bit. Yeah. But he can evaluate minor league talent, as we saw yesterday in Springfield.
One of the reserve catchers in the first base coach's box. 2-ball, 2-strike pitch. Line drive into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Will score 2. Medlinger is in. Antico is in. Sajasi is on his way to third base. And it is going to be a triple. So a 2-run triple to start this ball game off for Sajasi. And just like that, it's a 3-0 Cardinal lead. Sajasi, and the pitch going to be a sharply hit ball through the left side and going to be a single. So Sajasi aboard with a base hit to left field. Sajasi at the plate, and this one's going to be a fly ball. Well hit left field. field, and Sajaci has hit another home run.
Let's get excited.
Sajaci steps in, line drive, well hit, left field, heading back. This one's going to bang off the wall, and Thomas Sajaci is going to tack on another RBI. It doesn't leave the ballpark. Medlinger comes in to score, and Sajaci has hit for the cycle. How about that?
How about that?
How about it?
I think that got you fired up.
Let's re-say that. How about that?
How about that?
How about
Mel
that?
Allen. Thomas Sajaci.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Mo. Thanks for bringing him into our lives.
A lot of people were really concerned, too, when you heard that an infielder was a part of that Jordan Montgomery trade. But he's been so exciting to watch in the minors. And that performance on Saturday was just huge for him. But he's been doing that pretty consistently. Obviously, the cycle is not something he's doing consistently. But he's been doing really well in the minors. And he's somebody that kind of makes you wonder, how soon will we see him?
Well, Brooke, he's only hitting .353 with a 1.158 OPS down in Springfield.
Gotta do better.
Pretty darn good.
How about that?
Well, you know
how
what?
about that?
I kind of get sick. By the way,
Question mark.
How about that?
yeah,
How about that?
6 homers, 13 RBIs. I would suggest that maybe that guy should maybe that play-by-play guy should get fired up about it. I'm just saying.
Maybe a little bit.
Just almost spit out my coffee.
Maybe a little bit.
Enthusiasm, man. Guys doing well. It's a triple.
So-
I don't want to say anything because I feel bad because typically they're not making much. They're working their way up in the system, especially
You're trying to
minor
work
league
your way up.
play-by-play.
Get fired
But
up.
yeah, maybe just a tad bit more
So
enthusiasm.
if he's performing and continues to perform this well, you see him on this roster in 2024, maybe at second base,
Could happen.
but now you can.
The thing
move-
is, you have Prieto too. You're loaded now with second baseman.
you gotta, Randy. This is the make plays business. You make plays, you play. You don't. You don't.
Okay.
So
I'm good with
at
that.
least that's how it's supposed to be.
Oh.
Yeah.
It doesn't always go that way.
Doesn't always.
There was a lot of other stuff. The Cardinals win. Thomas Sajaci hits for the cycle. How about St. Louis City SC last night? They handled Austin FC 6-3. It was 3-0, like with, about a half hour left. It was like in the 50th minute. And then Austin tallies, and then City tallies. And then, by the way, City is just rocking and rolling. I sent you guys a text last night, and I truly believe it. You guys might not think so, but there is a better player than Messi in MLS.
And who is that?
That's our guy Louis. It's not Louis. It's
Are you thinking Leuven?
no. Leuven's clearly
Sam,
better.
Here's the
than
thing,
Messi.
though. Here's the thing. He also, though, was not playing on an MLS squad the majority of this season. That's Big Sam Adeniran.
Yeah.
Who what the guy's doing? Outside boot, left foot, and on that first goal, and then he gets a little fancy at the buzzer with the top corner, like bend it like Beckham shot. I mean, that was.
He's great.
Hit the square button a little bit.
Giacchini's great, but a
Giacchini.
sublime performance by Roman Berkey.
Oh my God, he was incredible.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
The amount of time he makes a point blank save, it's been 7 or 8 goals at this point that he saved, and you look at what Edward Leuven does every play, and yet Berkey's the MVP. Berkey's the MVP of this team. He's the MVP of the league.
And Tomas Ostrak get on the score sheet as well.
Slow your roll there, big fella.
No, Messi can't score enough goals in 12 games to win MVP.
Why can't he?
It's not fair.
Did I tell
Not
you
enough
that?
games.
Gave you this, Randy. If they were in the basement of the division, if he brings them and makes them helps them get to the playoffs, and he scores 2 to 3 goals, 2 goals, 1 to 2 goals every game, no way in hell they're not gonna give him the
Give him Player of the Year, but he can't be MVP.
Why not?
Well, no, you give him
valuable-
MVP, but not Player of the Year. Player of the Year is guy that's been of the year. If he wanted to play in MLS, he could have played in MLS, but he didn't. He chose not to, so he can't get that award.
You tell that to the fans that are voting that are trying to get MLS, get more eyes on the MLS.
Well,
He's must-see TV.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
I mean, he's good.
Yeah.
He's a good soccer player.
He is good.
He's a really good soccer
The greatest to some people, the greatest to ever do.
Yeah, well, that's prisoner of the moment stuff.
Okay.
Because Pele did exist.
He's the greatest.
Yeah, at one time. So anyway, great night for City. 6-3 victory over Austin FC. Parker with a tally. Nico and Adeniram both tally braces. Thomas Ostrak gets on the score sheet. And new City debut for summer transfer Thor, as we've called him here. Returning to play since an injury in November 22.
Knockfee.
And Nielsen debuted off the bench as well. So there you go. That's all good stuff.
It's really exciting. And just the fan support seeing that back last night. And you wonder after they have 3 weeks off, essentially, how they would perform. And it was a great performance. And it was also yesterday, the 4-year anniversary of when they announced that MLS was coming to St. Louis.
That's cool.
It is.
Good. So there you have it. We're off and running here on 101 ESPN. Brooke, Carrie, Randy, Matthew, coming up next, what we loved about the weekend on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. It's time for what we loved about the weekend here on 101 ESPN. And Brooke Grimsley, Carrie Davis, Randy Carricker. Brooke, take it away.
My number 2 thing from this weekend. Number two. Or if we were that play-by-play guy, we'd be like, number two?
Number 2. Oh, no, that play-by-play guy. Number 2.
Number 2. Well, number 2 for me.
Cycle for Thomas the Chase. Like he's doing golf.
Like he was doing. I feel so bad for him.
Me too.
He's learning. My number 2 is not that. It's going to be City SC being back in action, as we were talking about earlier, beating Austin FC on the anniversary of MLS coming to the Lou. I saw the photo from at that big announcement. Randy, I think you were there for that. The big MLS for the Lou announcement. I don't think anyone could have imagined how well it would have gone in this inaugural season for City SC. And you wonder too, with the 3 weeks off, with the break, like how that they would perform. They were able to continue to carry that momentum. As we mentioned, two goals from Gioacchini, 2 from Adeniran, plus Parker, and debuts from Thoresen and Nielsen. It was just a great game. It's the 10th time that they have scored 3 or more goals in a game. It was just exciting to see. And then you have to mention Leuven and what he's able to do to really set guys up. You mentioned Berkey and his abilities. It was just a great game overall. The fan support was fantastic.
Great
even
match.
though it was match. And even though it was still hot, it still had to have been. If somebody was at the game last night, I want to know how hot it was. Because even though it was nighttime, it looked like it was still really, really hot out there.
It was really hot. So you're at the game. How hot was it?
Yeah. Don't drink milk today.
Don't drink milk. No.
Don't stay. Just trust me. It's going to sit on your stomach, and it's not going to feel great. It's going to be bubbling and boiling. That's not good.
Yeah.
So I changed my number 2 because I didn't want to step on your toes for number 1. So mine is, can you all hear that?
Yes.
That's
Somebody
football
knocking?
season knocking.
Oh,
It's here.
yes.
It's here. Football season is knocking at your door.
Yes.
We got some football, man.
I believe you've got Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Ravens Commanders tonight on the big ESPN.
I get, preseason football, I don't feel like it's what it used to be because when you only have 3 games, it kind of changes things because normally that third game was the one where you could really see the offenses and the defense and the stars play, extended period of time. But just knowing that football season is right around the corner, my Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, are going to surprise some people. It's going to be a really tough division that AFC North is. It always is, but we know the most physical team wins, and if you hit people in the mouth, usually they don't want to get up. So just do that more often.
Yeah.
And win games.
Good.
I like it.
Guys, here's what I like, is people following their dreams. Did you see the story about Miles Jack this weekend? Miles Jack was a former Pro Bowl linebacker for the Jaguars and didn't get signed until late in training camp. And after 7 NFL seasons, Miles Jack decided to retire to pursue his dream of becoming an electrician or a plumber. He wants to do things with his hands, and he wants to be prepared in case the world is about to come to an end. And so he decided to call it quits. He said, I like to work. I just couldn't sit at home. I've been blessed to make a lot of money, so I couldn't just retire and sit at home. But I'm too bored. My mind is too much. I just want to be innovative. I don't know. If a zombie apocalypse happens, I want to be able to build something or fix something. So he's going to become a plumber or an electrician. He's going to go to trade school and give up his NFL career.
Intriguing.
Yeah, but he's following his dream. He achieved one dream, and he's going to follow another dream.
People, you need plumbers every day. So you're going into a field where, guys are always going to have a need for you. I had a player that didn't want to go to college. He was going to trade school and went on to become a plumber. Started out making like $25 an hour as an 18-year-old.
And like you said, there's always going to be a need for plumbers and electricians and tradespeople.
Yes.
So congrats to Miles Jack, and congrats to all those people that are going out there and getting into what is a seller's market.
Here's my thing, Randy, because I do dabble in homes and under sinks. And when you're a bigger person, it's a little tight squeeze under that kitchen sink. And just long as Miles knows that. The shoulders aren't really made to get under that sink like that. It's going to be a little tough.
The workout for plumbing is going to be different than the workout for playing linebacker in the NFL.
A little different.
Number 1.
My number 1 is, of course, going to have to be the debut of Mason Blaze Wynn. Blaze. So exciting on Friday. I was able to go to the game, also go to practice, meet him, because I didn't get to meet him during spring training this year. So this is my first time meeting him in person, and the confidence we were talking about it. You heard him in his interview last week when he was on with BK and Ferrario, and you wonder if he's going to bring that confidence in person. He is, and he's so secure in himself. I saw some people who were worried on social media about if it was just too much fanfare. Us media members, of course, we get very excited. We're putting out videos. I was also putting out videos of Mason Wynn and just the excitement surrounding him. I think that he is someone who deserves all of this, and he is really, really excited and prepared for this moment. Of course, he's young, and there's going to be a lot of highs and lows in his career, but just seeing him and Walker together, it was incredible to see. I mean, we've been waiting for this moment, right? To see Walker and win in St. Louis. And for those two, it's seeing the future, the excitement surrounding it. And his family was there. So his family was over at the practice, and it was just really cool to see. And then you saw them in the stands during the game when he got his first major league hit. It was such a special experience to be able to witness that in person. And guys, he's just amazing as you think he would be in person.
He has amazing tools, but here's the thing, and this is why I'm really glad they brought him up for this last month and a half, because those tools aren't harnessed yet. And spending time around people like Stubby Clapp and Ozzie Smith will really benefit him. The arm is so good, he wants to show it off, but sometimes you don't have to throw it 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can throw it 90 and get the job done, like the play at the plate the other night in his very first game. He needs to... and they're glorious tools. He just needs to refine them, and hopefully this time here, this last month and a half, will allow him to kind of settle down at the major league level too.
Should be exciting for him. I'm excited to see him and continue to watch him grow and mature in this position, in this role. And again, the Cardinals have a lot to look forward to. Just got to figure out that pitching, that starting pitching, that bullpen.
Starting pitching, yeah.
Okay.
And he talked about Jose Oquendo with it being the Hall of Fame weekend, just how much Jose has meant to him and his career. So the fact that he is able to recognize this and also just so well spoken, I'm excited. And also as a media member, you're excited because you're like, okay, we're definitely gonna talk to you a lot over these next few years. Yes.
Yep. So you all know I wasn't here on Friday, filled in the fast lane, so I missed the morning. So my number one started a little bit early, around 8:37 a.m.
Oh.
There was a question during the fight, which Central team didn't have 100 wins, and so for me, my number one was listening to the fight, and here's the thing, I was listening. I texted you all as soon as I heard you not go for the options. I texted Brooke. I said, "Uh-oh," because it was insinuating that it was NL Central. However, Mr. Rocchio meant AL and NL Central.
It was a little tricky, huh?
It was like, gotcha. And so it was, for me, I was laughing so hard.
But Carrie, the other
Friday.
part of this, the X factor here,
yes,
the Brewers have never won 100 games.
Yeah, so
there was even more.
Yeah.
Controversy.
Controversy was It was great.
CD, it was fantastic. As soon as I saw that question, I just knew. I knew that it was coming, but also I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted to let it play out. I was a little scared. So
Rocc was hoping my number one was going to get taken by someone.
No such
not
luck.
that one.
No such luck. Guys, my number one is watching this battle for next year's number 5 spot unfold. Dakota Hudson, 5 1/3 yesterday. He allows 2 runs. On Friday night, it was Zach Thompson going 5 innings, allowing 2 runs. Hudson before that had allowed 6.2 or gone 6.2 and allowed 2 runs. We've seen Matthew Liberatore go 8 scoreless innings, although his last start wasn't that great, but as it turns out, maybe he's hurt a little bit. The battle for this spot is going to be very competitive and very fun, and hopefully the Cardinals are true to their word when they say they're going to go out and get 3 starting pitchers during the course of the offseason, because what they need more than anything is quantity, and they need competition. And we're seeing right now that both Thompson and Hudson at the moment, and when he comes back, Matthew Liberatore, are going to step up and be a part of what should be a really interesting competition, because they all have major league ability. They could be, all 3 of those guys. I don't know if they can be front of the rotation guys, but all 3 of those guys ultimately could wind up being back of the rotation 4 or 5 guys for you.
And that's what you want going into next season. You need that depth. You need just a little bit more of that comfortability going into next season, because you didn't have that going to this season. Now, going in with some depth, I think, is always a good thing. And let the competition play out, because guess what? Injuries will happen.
They will?
Yeah.
Generally.
Especially if you looked at all the injury updates from this past weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of injuries. Cardinals have a lot of guys. Is it 9 on IL right now or 10?
How's Nolan Gorman doing?
You know what, CD? His back hurts. He's on the IL.
When did that start?
About a week back.
No! Also, just go ahead and throw it out there. Matthew Liberatore also dealing with a back issue.
Thing.
Let's just go ahead and get it out there.
Guess how long? How long do you think that was?
About a week back.
All right. I'm glad we aired this out. I was as soon as I was making my notes last night, I was like, great. Multiple back issues on this squad right now.
Do the Cardinals need to do different back exercises?
Maybe. Possibly.
That's a fair question.
Seen a lot of them. There you go. That's what we loved about the weekend here on 101 ESPN. Coming up tonight, The Cardinals will hope to burn the Pirates with a CD. Rom.
Oh, wow.
Like it.
That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey guys, how you feeling this morning after the weekend? I hope you're bright and bushy-tailed, but if you're feeling a little bit draggy, if you're not feeling your best, it could be an issue with low T, because all of us as guys deal with low T, and you can get that fixed at mentality by going to lowtusa.com. It's really easy to get your energy level back. If you're fatigued this morning, if you're tired, if maybe you're a little anxious, well, then you need to go to lowtusa.com. Set an appointment at one of their great clinics here in St. Louis, and Mentality will take care of you. They're in Chesterfield and in South County. They've got great doctors and nurses that are going to do a complete panel on your blood work, find out where your testosterone level is, and then they've got an FDA-approved supplemental testosterone treatment that will allow you to get your testosterone level back to where it was when you were in your 20s. And you will feel better. You will feel stronger. You will have more physical stamina, and you'll be able to get through days, and you'll feel normal when you wake up. You won't be as fatigued as you feel this morning. It's very easy to use, Mentality. Just go on the web, find out what they do at lowtusa.com, and then get started with Mentality.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals salvage one for the New York Mets out of a rough weekend after losing 7-1 and 13-2 in games 2 and 3 of the Mets series. They come back with a win in game 4, 7-3. Dakota Hudson with the start there. 5 1/3 inning pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, and 1 home run allowed. Also in action yesterday, St. Louis City with a big win over Austin FC, 6-3. They go to a season sweep over Austin FC and Next week, they will host Orlando City. Cardinals back in action tonight, starting a 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6:05 first pitch. It'll be the MLB debut for Drew Rom, traded to the Cardinals from the Baltimore Orioles, and he will face off against Bailey Falter, who's done just that. 0-7 on the season with a 4.86 ERA so far this year. That is your SportsCenter update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
I like sports because I can get excited about things. I can get excited about young players coming along. I don't take a woe is me. I don't take an Eeyore type attitude.
Wah, wah.
Wah. I think some people have a tendency, especially when John Mozeliak is involved, to kind of have a confirmation bias and hope that things go bad so that they can be proven to be right, rather than being excited for a young player like Mason Wynn or CD Rom tonight to make their major league debut and hopefully build upon what has been a very successful minor league career. And Drew Rom is going to make his MLB debut for the Cardinals after Matthew Liberatore's start was pushed back because of back tightness.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
That's not great.
Yeah,
when did that happen?
About a week back.
You had about as much energy as that play-by-play announcer.
Yeah, really.
A week back.
Katie Wu writes at The Athletic, Rom, the headlining prospect the Cardinals acquired from Baltimore in their trade of Jack Flaherty at the deadline, was promptly added to the club's 40-man roster before making 2 starts for AAA Memphis. He impressed in both of them. Since joining the organization, Rom has allowed just 2 hits and 1 earned run over 11 innings. He's recorded just 4 walks compared to 18 strikeouts, displaying the alluring swing and miss trait the Cardinals have been coveting in their rotation. Rom won't light up the radar gun. His fastball usually sits in the low 90s, but he can effectively mix speeds between his 3-pitch arsenal to miss bats. And I don't care how hard you throw. John Tudor didn't throw very hard, but in 1985 had more complete games than Max Scherzer has in his career, or Justin Verlander has in his career, or Clayton Kershaw has in his career. So, and he never got above 90. And if John Tudor were pitching today, well, probably 91. If John Tudor were pitching today, he would dominate. If Greg Maddux were pitching today, he would dominate. And if Drew Rom can hit his spots, then he can be great for the Cardinals. And he doesn't have to light up the radar gun, as Katie mentioned.
I'm excited about the youth movement. This is exactly what we want to see with the Cardinals this season, because there are games left to play. This is evaluation mode for the Cardinals. So let the kids play. It's the youth movement, just seeing what these guys are capable of. Drew Rom, he's doing all the right things down in the minor league level, and you have this opportunity with Matthew Liberatore. Of course, you don't like to see that he's dealing with that
back injury.
I want to avoid it, but yes, he is dealing with a back issue as of right now. And
How long has he had that, Brooke?
I have to say it.
How long has he had that?
He had, he pitched
He's had it about
before Friday.
About a week back. I need these back injuries to go away. Maybe they should. Maybe they should have started looking at some different program, because with Nolan Gorman, Tyler O'Neill, and Matthew Liberatore dealing with lower back issues, something's got to give here, right?
Yeah.
They should have changed that program about a week back. Somebody in the YouTube chat had that joke on there, but right now is what you're supposed to be doing, is let these younger guys come up. Some will fail, some will not, and just see what they have as you're evaluating things moving forward for next season. Drew Rom, as we talked about, he was a key piece of that trade with Jack Flaherty, and it'll be exciting to see what he's able to do, and if he factors into maybe one of those depth pieces that we were talking about when we were talking about Dakota Hudson, Zach Thompson for next season for the Cardinals.
I think it's amazing that, you're talking about he won't light the radar gun up. He's not going to throw it past you, which probably tells you that you can have swing and miss stuff and not have to throw it extremely hard. And that's one of the things that it's kind of like the combine when players go, you watch all of their film and then they run a 4.3. Like, oh, we got to sign him. Yeah, but can he play?
Yeah.
He ran fast, but what does his film show you? And so with the Cardinals or any organization, they're starting to make this transition to swing and miss stuff. And so if you got a guy that can change speeds, I think hitters will tell you, if it's 98 or if it's 102, it probably feels and looks the same. But if it's moving, the movement or the location or the ability to throw the same pitch and it not be the same speed, those are the things that throw hitters off. And if Drew Rom can continue what he's done, 18 strikeouts in his 2 games in Memphis is really, really good. Hopefully he can do that tonight, and we can see it in person, see this swing and miss stuff that we're starting to covet for the St. Louis Cardinals.
And, Brooke, as you alluded to, just seeing the young group of players. Yesterday it was Hudson. We know him pretty well. But to see Liberatore, to see Thompson, to see Rom, to see Mason Wynn getting an opportunity. Eventually we'll see the 23-year-old Gorman back in there. By the way, bad, scary news about Dylan Carlson, who may have to have season-ending ankle surgery. But the Cardinals do have a really interesting young core. And if promise and watching evolution intrigues you, then you can enjoy this. If you're all about only getting veteran players and winning World Series, which is a great thing to do. The Cardinals did that a lot during 2000. You can't do that anymore. But during the 2000s, they did that a lot, trading all their kids for veteran players. That was cool, too. We have not had this in St. Louis. So the last time we had this in St. Louis was in the 90s when you had Langford, Gilkey, and Jordan in the outfield, and you tried to give Todd Zeile an opportunity and people like Geronimo Pena. And you didn't really, well, you had some young pitchers, but it wasn't great. Donovan Osborne and Alan Watson and guys like that. But this is the first time in 20 years that the Cardinals have actually had a youth movement. So I'm intrigued by watching all of these young guys get an opportunity.
Yeah, let the kids play. That's exactly what this is. This is the era to do that. And they're in a situation where this season, as we know, you absolutely hate what has happened this season. But now you have the opportunity to give these young players a chance and evaluate them. And look, they're not going to be perfect. I saw, somebody's pointed out Mason Wynn's numbers from this week, and you've seen what Luken Baker has not really done since he's been called up. But that's the point. And all he talked about that last night is this is what this is about. When he was referring to Mason Wynn and Luken Baker, is just letting these guys settle in, gain that confidence. Some of that pressure is still there because with Mason Wynn, you're making your major league debut, but kind of getting over those nerves and settling in, giving them time, and you have the perfect opportunity to do that this season. Even though it's been terrible, this is a good chance to give young guys a chance and see what they what they are able to do and to gain some confidence before next season.
Yeah, and I mean, with the injuries piling up, it's giving guys opportunities to play. Dylan Carlson, season-ending ankle surgery. He's out with an oblique. So when did he decide that his ankle was hurt?
Well, the ankle's been hurt all year.
His ankle has been bothering him for a while. And so the latest update on that, CD, is that he's scheduled to visit a specialist to determine if he should undergo season-ending surgery on his ankle. You just hate to see that with him because it's been one thing after another injury-wise. Yeah. He doesn't take as long of breaks as Tyler O'Neill, but then you start to get concerned if he would turn into another Tyler O'Neill situation.
It's not. Whenever you have to, you're often injured and not able to compete, not able to play, that doesn't bode well for your opportunities or your career because at the end of the day, he needs to be on the field for him.
Yes.
For the Cardinals, but also for him to continue to get paid, to get that big contract that every player wants at some point. But if you're not healthy, if you're not able to stay out there, it's I'm sure it's very frustrating for him, and that was just surprising to see possible season-ending ankle surgery when right now he's out for an oblique. So we'll see how that all plays out for him.
And I consider, and I don't know about you guys, do you guys consider him a part of this whole evaluation process that we're talking about with players, that he needed to have more playing time to be able to show the Cardinals?
I think he needed it, and he didn't. He got hurt again.
He got hurt. Yeah, I think his time, but again, I could be wrong because I felt the same way about Tyler O'Neill, that his time had passed him by in terms of getting those opportunities. So maybe if he gets this ankle surgery and he's able to come back and be healthy, maybe he will get an opportunity. And I'm sure someone else will get injured because that's just how sports go. People get hurt, you get opportunities, and hopefully you don't let it go once you get that next opportunity.
Well, and that's one of the things the Cardinals will run into now. If he has ankle surgery, it's going to be much more difficult to trade. It's going to be hard to trade Donovan, too. I wonder if he'll be able to pass a physical by the time we get to December. So maybe that'll work in the Cardinals' favor. You never know. But hopefully the guy will be able to bounce back from injury and be what he was a couple of years ago when he was third in the National League Rookie of the Year voting. That's Brooke. That's Carrie. I'm Randy. Coming up, we've got Take It or Leave It. Get your text in to the Air Comfort Service. Text line 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! Take It or Leave It next on 101 ESPN. Hey kids, with Schnucks Rewards, you can reward yourself daily with the Schnucks Rewards app. When you head to Schnucks and you see that glorious produce section with all the colorful peppers and all the beautiful and fresh lettuce and carrots and tomatoes, you go in there and you pick up a beautiful salad, okay? And then you move on to the best bakery in town and get some of their unbelievable muffins or cupcakes or gooey butter cake, which is absolutely delicious. And then you can go back to the butcher and get yourself a nice filet, and you're set for a great meal. But you aren't finished because you have to do the rest of your shopping. Well, all you need to do is set it up in the Schnucks Rewards app. Just put your list into the app, and it'll guide you through the store, and you can pick up everything you need. And then once you get to the counter, you just give them your phone number. It's simple. Shop, earn, and redeem 2% back on everything you get. And not only do you get points for money off, the Schnucks Rewards app has lots of other features designed to make your grocery shopping easier, including very easy coupons. Download the Schnucks Rewards app before you go shopping and have the best shopping experience you'll ever have at Schnucks.
Time for Take It or Leave It.
Want to say something? Want to put it out there? If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, set it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your Take It or Leave It.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
All right, time for Take It or Leave It on 101 ESPN. Texts in right now to 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Okay, guys, yesterday, Dateline, Springfield Mo, Thomas Ajacey. Here we go. He's my guy. Thomas Ajacey's not my guy. This is my guy.
Oh, okay. Thomas isn't your guy?
Well, he's kind of my guy, but not as much as this guy is.
Oh, okay.
Medlinger comes in to score, and Sajasi has hit for the cycle. How about that?
Take it or leave it. That guy would be a great golf broadcaster. Take it.
Oh, I'm going to take that. It almost sounded like a transatlantic accent. Remember that old accent that people would have? It's like a very certain tone and cadence of a way of saying things. It almost sounds like that a little bit. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do. Totally.
Yes, it does sound like that, just a tad bit.
I like that guy. I think he should be either a golf broadcaster or a news guy.
But he's doing play-by-play, Randy.
Can we get that one more time just for fun?
Baseball
Can we
team.
get it for fun? How about that?
How about that?
I just want to hear this one more time.
Medlinger comes in to score, and Sajasi has hit for the cycle. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
The biggest problem with that not only is that how he tagged it off there, but there's a home run in that call somewhere, and I don't know where.
There's
That's a good point.
It's just there. It's,
you know what? Okay.
And this poor guy is Randy, probably like 20-something years old, very young, and he probably has to work at another place because they get paid like, how much do you think that minor league broadcasters get paid? It's nothing, essentially.
They might be doing it for the love of the game.
Oh, that could be. Okay, so
parents.
here's this guy. Can I get from yesterday Cardinals number 7, please? Okay, so this guy, Sajasi, it for the cycle. How about that? Okay. Now that's obviously AA, a little different. Probably the crowd, the energy is not as great. Okay. But it was 900,000 degrees yesterday at the ballpark.
Yes.
Cardinals have a 4-2 lead. Okay.
That's a very accurate weather description.
Thank you. Very hot sun, people dying because of the heat. I mean, it happens sometimes. But Chip Carey, undeterred as the Cardinals add some insurance.
Little number over first. That's going to drop for a hit. That's going to score another run. The Cardinals have them at second and third, and they've got a 5-2 lead.
Okay, so that is Jordan Walker, who played last year at Springfield. Can I hear the other guy one more time? Okay, so that was Chip giving the Cardinals, last place Cardinals, by the way, a 5-2 lead. And here's the other
Medlinger comes in to score, and Sajasi has hit for the cycle. How about that?
He's working hard, man. He's working hard.
He's working hard. Yes, I agree,
To
CD.
ask the question, take it or leave it, I'm going to hell.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. There's about 20 times during Randy Palooza you could have gotten canceled, too, with some of your jokes on air. You were teetering on that line.
Really close.
All right.
All right. We can go. We can leave the young man alone.
How about that? Medlinger.
So, I was listening. RG3 was talking about the Ravens this week and saying that Lamar Jackson has complete control of this offense. They're more explosive. They're going to do a lot of great things. Take it or leave it. Lamar Jackson is top 3 in MVP voting this year.
Take it. Yes,
top
take
3.
it.
I'm going to take it, especially with all that momentum and what he needs to do to prove himself this season. I feel like he will definitely do it. Yes.
They scare me. I think they're going to be really good. Yeah.
I think that's a good
Him
one.
healthy is it should scare any defensive coordinator.
Take it or leave it. You get a kick out of Brooks saying, "Don't be that person."
Don't be that person. Take it or leave
it, by the way.
Take it or leave it, guys. We touched on it a wee bit. Pete Alonso and his whole situation on Friday just really ticked me off a little bit with Mason Wynn, where he just, as the kids say, yeeted the ball into the stands. And so this is not going to be my take or leave it, because I believe that he definitely, it was a heat of the moment thing. Maybe he looked back and was like, yes, I'm sorry for it. But reportedly, he gave Mason Wynn a bat and a bottle of Don Julio 1942 tequila to apologize. Take it or leave it. If I was Mason Wynn, I would have yeeted the bat.
Yeah.
How old is Mason Wynn?
He's 21.
Oh, okay. So he can drink.
I did think he was 20 years old, so I was like Googling real quick. I was like, oh, is he also going to give alcohol to a minor? Another reason not to like him. Because, nobody drinks until they're 21, right?
Nobody.
No.
So especially in the minor leagues.
No.
On those 13-hour bus rides that Chip was talking about his sons were on. That's crazy.
I need also a lip reader to tell us. I think I could figure out what Ollie Marmol was saying in the dugout, but I wonder what Mason Wynn said, because it looked like he might have just said, "You're good, man," but the fans were not happy. I know that it was just the way that it all unfolded. I couldn't believe that Alonso did that.
Yeah,
that was weird.
And I wonder what Michaelis was. I think Michaelis might have been the most vocal.
Michaelis was fired up.
Yeah, he was. That's good. And Stubby should have just gone and tackled him. Shouldn't Stubby have just gone and tackled Pete Alonso?
You said mistakes happen. But here's the thing. If he didn't have a track record, and especially a history specifically with the Cardinals, and Stubby Clapp is right there, all that stuff, maybe I would forgive him or just think that it was an accident. And I do forgive him, I guess. I mean, that was nice of him to give the tequila. But to me, he did that on purpose. I think it was a heat of the moment thing, and he realized how stupid it was later on.
All right. What do we got on the text line there, Matthew?
Take it or leave it. If Goldie was at first base, Mason Wynn would have had one of the best rookie debut web gems you've ever seen.
Take it. Yes.
There's
no doubt. Goldie would have made that play. Lucan Baker he's a big fella. From Texas. He's kind of Paul Bunyan-esque, and wasn't probably his build is not predisposed to making slick plays at first base.
Paul Bunyan-esque.
Yeah. He's a big fella.
Just
he
a little
is.
too big.
Yeah.
CD, he'd be like a linebacker. Like he's massive.
I think he's more.
What do you think he would be?
I think he's more of a 3 technique.
Yeah, he is.
He's about 6'4", 270.
Yeah.
He's a hefty fella.
Got long arm.
So what position you think?
D-line, D-tackle.
Okay.
Yeah.
He could be a guard, too.
IDL.
But he's not that fast.
He needs to put a little beef on.
Yeah. Well, he'd probably be undersized for a guard.
Yeah.
I need to see his quickness, his lateral quickness to know if he can.
Well, we saw how he
can play.
I don't think it's that
well,
day.
yeah, we don't. that long speed, we don't worry about at that position. I need a short burst. That's all I need.
Can't help
Definitely not a wide receiver.
No.
Take it or leave it. You didn't know Casey Kasem was the broadcaster for the
Take it, yeah.
Come on, man.
Wait, we had
18 years old, 19 years old, just getting into
Probably
prime.
having
Probably wanted to
ramen
be a
every day to
superstar.
survive.
Awesome.
Everybody's. Oh yeah, he will.
And he's going to remember you,
Yeah.
Randy.
Oh, he
Yeah.
is.
He's going to
We had a
save this
guy-
take.
When I was in college at Lindenwood, that sounded exactly like Casey Kasem. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Was he
And
doing it on
wound up.
purpose?
He wound up having. Had a good career out in L.A. But he had a hero in Casey Kasem. It sounded exactly like him.
So he was doing it on purpose.
Oh yeah. Oh no doubt. Yeah.
Okay. Take it or leave it. Carrie's boy Ryan Clark is out of his mind for thinking that Pickens is better than Jefferson.
Yeah. Jordan Jefferson is different. But I won't even say, but George Pickens, GP makes some amazing plays on the ball. But I don't think Justin Jefferson is in a different league.
Yeah, last year, Justin Jefferson talked about being the best receiver in the league, and I said, man, you got to be the best receiver out of LSU from your team because of Jamar Chase. He's better.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Take it or leave it. They should have plunked Alonzo.
Oh, take it.
I'm going to take it. I love that kind of stuff. I do. I think the baseball needs some more of that.
Yeah.
The villain stories.
And once Zach Thompson was out of the game, you lost 7-1. I mean, once you're down and it's over, I mean, the Cardinals aren't coming back with this offense. You might as well have some fun. Make it exciting.
The Grim Reaper strikes again.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Tim Reaper.
Tim Reaper strikes again. Take it or leave it.
My alter ego.
Brooke, is this your burner?
What?
Okay, 314. Take it or leave it. Stop with the weak back jokes. It's old and played out.
Oh, you know what?
Leave it.
Are you okay?
You okay, Randy?
You know what? I'm playing golf today, even though it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll be able to. I don't know if I'll be able to torque. It's I need like a massage or something.
What's wrong with you?
Just sore back there.
When did that start?
About a week back.
Oh my gosh! It's already been too many in one show. It's
We're not even an hour in.
7:57.
Yep. As far as those that hate the back jokes, get used to it.
We
because
do not care.
Brooke hates it, so
How about that?
So he takes it and goes, "Hey, honey, we won the lottery. How about that?"
How about that?
Take it or leave it. The Blues make the playoffs and finish third in a depleted Central Division.
take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
just,
Are we looking forward to Blue season now, like we were looking forward to Cardinal season at the end of Blue
Yes,
season?
we are.
Well, we have
we're
City
just
SC right now.
repeating ourselves.
Yeah, at least you have City SC.
Yeah. We just we have to find out if Jakob Verana is a real player or not.
Ooh, you think he's not real?
And he's got great speed. He's really fast.
He can skate, yeah, and he scores goals, but I don't know if he can do it over the course of how long is a hockey season? 9 months. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May.
Randy's that lady on the plane.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to get to June.
If you're lucky enough to get to June.
Yeah.
That person back there is not real.
He's getting dragged out of Centene as he screams it.
Yeah.
He's not real.
Watch, I'm telling you right now, if you watch a Buffalo Bills game this year, that number 3, that's a hologram.
Oh, man.
That's going to be a hologram.
Stop. Don't start that.
It's going to be a
Don't start
hologram that tackles Dalvin Cook in the opener.
Don't start that,
Dalvin
please.
Cook's
It's
gonna
already.
run
It's
right
going to be
through him.
going on all
It's not a
season. The
real
conspiracy
person. No,
theories.
it's
Yeah, he's cloned.
Yep.
Oh,
We just got a new
not
spelling.
that.
We just got a new spelling of Carrie, by the way, in the text line.
What is it now? What's
No,
the
I've
latest?
seen this one several
I've
times.
seen that one as well.
Yeah.
What is it?
Kerry.
Okay.
No, somebody just
Did I
called
miss
you
a name?
Curly.
Curly.
Oh, good.
Thank you,
Where's
Becky.
that one?
Thank you, Randy.
Oh.
From the 573. That's a Mizzou guy calling you Curly. Sorry about that.
Oh, man.
Oh no.
Coming up, is this the off season coming up where John Mozeliak goes crazy and spends like a wild man, like a sailor in New York with a pass? That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, I want you to know about my friends at Clubhouse Turf here in St. Louis. They are St. Louis' exclusive partner of Celebrity Greens. And if you want to improve your golf game, even when it's warm outside, it's great to have a Celebrity Green in your backyard. It's a synthetic green that putts true and gives you real grass performance when practicing chips or pitches, bunker shots. The only company to call is Clubhouse Turf, St. Louis' exclusive partner of Celebrity Greens. You saw Max Homa in the hunt this weekend. He has a Celebrity Green in his backyard. He gets up and down better. John Rom has it in his backyard. So if you want to improve your score on your golf game, then get in touch with Celebrity Greens. And Clubhouse Turf here in St. Louis is the way to do it. 314-834-2343. And you can find them on the web at clubhouseturf.com. You can copy the 12th at Augusta or the 2nd at Belle Reve. Whatever green you want to emulate, you'll be able to with a Celebrity Green from Clubhouse Turf here in St. Louis. Improve your score with a beautiful synthetic green from clubhouseturf.com. How about that?
Perspective on the day's top stories. It's the Opening Drive's Fresh Take.
Brought to you by Schnucks Rewards. Reward yourself. Earn 2% back on every purchase with the Schnucks Rewards app.
Okay, some things we... Oh, come on now. I'm being a sweetheart. Kind of.
At the end of that live read, what did you say, Randy?
In homage to Mel Allen, I said, how about that?
I'm just here.
Has hit for the cycle. How about that?
Okay.
Are you going to add that to your soundboard for the fight?
Yeah.
For the fight?
Yeah.
Oh,
How about
yes.
that? Yeah. Okay, I think that just happened.
CD.
What did Marshawn say? I'm just here so I don't get fined.
It's so true.
It's 8:05 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Traffic and weather together. There is traffic outside.
What's the weather?
And the weather is
awful.
81. Next hour.
That's what it
next hour, 83. 95 is our high tonight, or 96 in the 4 o'clock hour, in the 3 o'clock hour, and the 4 o'clock hour.
Oh,
now, kids, here's why we do traffic and weather together. Number one, because there's little traffic on Olive. We don't have traffic in St. Louis. We should never complain about our traffic, okay? No. So that's why we only do traffic reports when it's raining or cloudy, or these guys want to see me up in the helicopter when it's really foggy. But anyway.
Why would they want that?
You guys, I don't know. You tell me.
We don't want that.
Okay. Tomorrow, 97 degrees. Wednesday, 99 degrees. Thursday, 102. Friday, 99. And then Saturday, back down to 88. And then Sunday, rain, but 77 degrees. All right. Traffic and weather together on the, occasionally, on 101 ESPN. 8:06 time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. The Cardinals have not done a good job of spending money in free agency over the years. This is pretty clear. I think we can go a long way before we can say the Cardinals really got return on their investment. Aside from Albert Pujols last year, the Cardinals have not done a great job in free agency. That being said, let me give some credit where credit is due. They said they wanted an offensive catcher. Well, they have a guy that catches and provides great offense in Wilson Contreras. But the Cardinals also need pitching this offseason. With the free agency failures, not only for the Cardinals, but of Major League Baseball this year, do you see the Cardinals dipping their foot in that expensive free agent pitcher water this year? Or do you think they'll do it all by trade? I would be really surprised, just based on recent history, when you look at what's happened with, in the last 2 years, Verlander, Scherzer, DeGrom, the big three, Rodon. I would be really surprised if the Cardinals would go there. I think there's a chance that they'll sign some free agent pitchers. Do I think they'll go like I hoped, 210 over 7 for a guy like Nola or Urias or Snell? I don't think they will.
You don't think that they will?
I don't think they'll go long term because they just don't work. And the Cardinals are, at the end of the day, they're going to be analytical about long-term spending. And one thing that I've been told is that they look at all of the long-term contracts that have been signed in the history of Major League Baseball, And if you go 7 years or more, you've had the Albert contract, the first Albert contract that worked out, the 7 years, $100 million that they gave him in 2004. The Holiday contract for them worked out. But if you look at the contracts generally for pitchers, 7 or more, for position hitters, 10 or more, they don't work. And the Cardinals know that.
And I get that. I guess my concern would be, I would assume that if you are going to go get a Nola and Urias, they're going to be looking for more long-term deals. So then essentially you're not going to be getting one of those big starters that everybody's looking at and you should be in those conversations with.
Yeah, that's a problem. But I think the Cardinals first, and the timing has to work out, they need to look at trades. They need to be really aggressive in making trades. And then if they make the determination that, okay, we're not going to make trades, because free agency starts 10 days after the World Series, right? 5 days after the World Series. So they're going to need to know that they can make a deal between the end of their season and essentially the end of the World Series. If they don't feel comfortable that they're able to pull it off, then they're going to have to reach a puke point. They're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, as Ken Hitchcock would say. And they're going to have to do what is expected of them. Because one thing they do know within the organization is they can't have 2 years in a row like this. They just can't, because the expectations here in St. Louis, we think they're outrageous, and for some people they are. But they know that the fans have that expectation. Right now, if you look at Cardinal Twitter and Yankee Twitter, they're identical. The owner is cheap. The general manager sucks. The manager needs to be fired. I mean, the Yankee Twitter and Cardinal, Yankee X and Cardinal X, they're identical right now.
It is.
I wonder if, the Cardinals, obviously, they talked about getting 3 starters in outside of the organization. I wonder how true that's going to be. I know that these guys, when you talk about Drew Rom, Liberatore, Thompson, Hudson, all of those guys are getting opportunities here at the end of the season to vie for that for a role on this team in 2024, whether it's a starting pitcher or in the bullpen. You also have maybe Tink Hintz, Tekoa Roby, Gordon Graceffo still not here yet. So those guys are probably thought to be somewhere on this team in 2024, for sure in 2025. What do you feel comfortable with going after in free agency? And so do we see the Cardinals actually spending $23-24 million on Julio Urias? Do we see them spending $30 to $33 million on on Aaron Nola? I don't know that that's something that the Cardinals will do. Now, do you see them potentially trading away a not Dylan Carlson, but a Brendan Donovan or a Nolan Gorman for a Dylan Cease? All of these options, just based on our knowledge of what the Cardinals have been and what they have done, I don't think any of it is feasible. I don't think we see any of it happen now. I think they'll try. I think they'll make an effort or tell us that they made an effort to go get a free agent, just couldn't spend the money or couldn't get to that number and come to an agreement. I think you're going to see what you're seeing now in 2024 in this starting rotation. Maybe you get another starter, but it's not going to be one of those big-name free agents unless they really decide to spend a lot of money and overspend.
And you mentioned the Yankees and how there's so many similarities, especially about how angry the fan base is right now. Well, guess what? All those big names that you're talking about with Urias and Snell and Nola, the Yankees are also going to be in on that. So it's going to be a bidding war. So when you're talking about not giving away those guys the 7 years, it is very steep, and those contracts typically do not pan out well, especially for a pitcher. But at the same time, it seems like they are really going to be able to set the market on what they want. They say, okay, you want me? Well, I want the 7 years. So it's going to be a matter of if the Cardinals want to do that or not. I still think they have to find somebody with ace-like stuff where you can feel comfortable having them at the top of your rotation. You have to do something different.
And they have to look at the history of these contracts, and they have to tell themselves, okay, we are going to wind up wasting some money here. And they've made deals like that in the past. When they signed Johnny Peralta, they knew that at the back end it wasn't going to be pretty. They knew when they signed Contreras that at the back end it wasn't going to be pretty. So they signed some contracts like that. They just haven't done it with pitchers. But what they have to recognize with the guys that you just mentioned, CD, in addition to CD Rom and Graceffo, McCreevy, Liberatore, Zach Thompson, when's the last time the Cardinals had a stud prospect pitcher that worked out?
That's and that's what is concerning. There's you can't. What was the problem going into this season? There was too many question marks on your pitching staff, especially in the starting rotation. You can't have that same thing happen.
Yeah, you say that, but again, history. If history is what you're going off of, I don't expect them to overspend in free agency, and I don't know unless you're willing to part with Nolan Gorman and some other pieces, some of those pitchers that are in the minors that are highly touted. You're probably not going to get a starting pitcher in trade via trade in the offseason.
They got to do something. They have to do something. I just don't think that they can afford not to.
But I think the problem is if you go and do that, if you go and spend a ton of money on Aaron Nola and he doesn't come and perform well, that's just part of the game.
It is. Yeah.
There is really nothing you can do about that if a guy doesn't perform well, if the history has shown that he's a very good pitcher, a very good player, and doesn't do a good job.
Let me make one other quick point here. The Cardinals are accused of not spending money. People say, well, they're making so much money off of Ballpark Village. I think there's a little bit of a lack of understanding that the Cardinals are the DeWitt family is a very diverse operation. And Ballpark Village is a real estate and commercial entity. The baseball team is separate than Ballpark Village. That being said, to make Ballpark Village viable, you need to have a good product next door. So even though people look at it, well, they're making so much money off of Ballpark Village, they should plow that money into the team. That's not that's not the way I think it works. The way I think it works is for Ballpark Village to make money, the team has to be good. And so I think that's probably a better way to look at it. Look at them as separate entities. Look at it this way. Just go to the other side of the ballpark. Patios, and the Cardinals have no ownership of Patios, but Patios needs the Cardinals to be good to get their maximum business. So look at it from that perspective. The surrounding businesses, including Ballpark Village, need the Cardinals to be good to maximize traffic in their areas.
Well, even just downtown in general, you need that because of the amount of people who come into St. Louis, specifically downtown, for the Cardinals games. I know they go to City SC games now too and Blues games, but the attendance, the consistent attendance, and somebody will point out, but Brooke, what about yesterday? It was like 100 degrees yesterday. So you should have, we talked about it before the show, you should have gotten free food and drinks for attending yesterday. You were a super fan. We're proud of you. You consistently have typically a good product year in and year out. You have that fan base, you have that rich history, you have people coming in, you need them to do well.
Absolutely. That's today's Fresh Take here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, as the Blues are about a month away from the start of training camp, did they mess up their offseason? That's coming your way on 101 ESPN.
Catch Wednesdays with
Oh, hey, it's me again. And let's talk real estate for a minute. If you need a reliable, experienced, and trusted agent, take it from me and get to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. That's why you should call, because Gloria already has your buyers. She's able to guarantee the sale of your home in writing because Gloria already has buyers in place from over 20 years of experience in an exclusive database looking to buy in your neighborhood and in your price range. That's how Gloria nets you the most money and creates the highest demand, many times with multiple offers, which means more money in your pocket. Gloria sells for more and sells faster when compared to your average agent. She's not your average agent. She's St. Louis local real estate authority with 20 years of experience, hundreds of homes sold in just the past 12 months alone, and the only agent I would trust to sell my home is Gloria Liu. Her number is 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888. Gloria knows that it's a big deal to sell your home. She's the best, and she'll treat you right. Go to GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Yeah, Gary, I think, the roster is pretty well set unless we see a trade. I wouldn't anticipate any sort of blockbuster trade before the season. Do they move a guy like Marco Scandella? I know that there's a lot of depth on defense. They're 8 or 9 deep there, but teams like to have that. But they're right next to the salary cap. And if you're going to try to get Scott Prnovich in games at some point, you're going to want to keep him in the lineup. So maybe you move one of these guys. Scandella's cap, just over the $3 million, so that would save you some. But, you get into the season and you're going to need that depth. So that's always the age-old question.
That's our friend Jeremy Rutherford, Blues insider from The Athletic on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. And the Blues certainly struggled defensively last year, and they'll bring back much the same cast of characters that they had last season. Justin Falk, Torrey Krug, Nick Leddy, Colton Parayko, Callie Rosen, Marco Scandella, Robert Bortuzzo. They'll add Perunovic, and hopefully he'll be healthy, and Tyler Tucker to the mix, but essentially it's going to be the same group, and hopefully the coaching of Mike Weber can improve their fortunes. But there's a couple of things that came into play here. Number one, the Blues were in a really tough cap crunch, and they also have guys that are in the midst of long-term contracts. So it's easy to say, Doug Armstrong, you should have changed the defense up during the course of the offseason. He tried. We know that. He tried to trade Torrey Krug for Travis Sanheim and wasn't able to pull it off because Krug invoked his no-trade clause, which he has every right to do. But it's not the Blues' fault that they weren't able to shake things up defensively more than they have.
Yeah, I guess the question would be, as you said, where were they going to go? I mean, who was going to make those trades? And then, as you said, Torrey Krug, he pulled his no-trade clause and said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay here. So the Blues made efforts to get it done, just unable to get it done. And I think Mike Weber has one of the toughest jobs going into this season because of the play of the Blues last season, not just from the defensemen, but from the forwards as well, just not always giving great effort. It's not always about, checking people. It's about getting effort and getting in lanes and not getting back, not being lazy, getting back on defense. So I'm intrigued to see how much effort is put into, that portion of the game, making sure that all five guys are tied in and making sure they're fighting their butts off. Because we talked about it all last season, how well Jordan Bennington played, but there were 4 goals scored. And you're like, well, he played well. Well, how? Well, it's because the people around him weren't giving great effort. And so if they're able to do that this year, I think they'll be better off.
And you mentioned there with Jordan Bennington, it was really a bounce-back season for him because he did consistently well. If you're watching the games, as you were mentioning, CD, you knew that. But if you looked at the numbers, you're like, that didn't look so great. Yeah. Not only does the defense need to improve, and you hope that Weber, with him being younger, I think that was kind of the priority where maybe he could relate a little bit more to these younger players that you have on the team. You have to think about that. And also special teams needing to improve. It was such a drop-off last season to what we have seen and expected from them in recent years. That has to change this season, and it will be interesting to see how it plays out. I think that Doug Armstrong did a good job this offseason also trying to figure out move Torrey Krug, because as soon as I saw that they signed Scott Perunovich to that deal, I was like, well, what does that mean for Torrey Krug? Because they're essentially the same player, which no offense to Torrey Krug, but I'm talking about more of the size and abilities and kind of similar defensive styles and what they're able to do.
Can't play them in the same game, can you?
No,
you really can't have them both dressed.
No, there's no way. So I wonder if something will be able to work out. I don't think that he's done whatsoever. I think that he's still wheeling and dealing behind the scenes and will find some way to fix this team or finish fixing this team.
And it's interesting because when we talk about the struggles that they endured, and by the way, I think not Marco Scandella, I think Nico Mikkola will be a really good player in Florida. They have a great coaching staff, and I think they'll get the most out of him. But kind of like the Cardinals, a lot of what ailed the Blues defensively does go back to fundamentals and just making the right simple play at the right time. And if Scandella's healthy, Scandella's been a good player. The problem with Marco Scandella is that he hasn't been healthy for the Blues. But if you have a left side with Krug, Scandella, and I assume that Tyler Tucker is going to get his minutes, or Letty, I'm fine with that. I like Falk a lot. I still think Colton Parayko is serviceable. You've got Bortuzzo, or you could play Rosen on the right side. There's a lot of things you can do on the right side. The one thing that I think they're missing, and I was wrong about this because I thought that Colton Parayko would step up. They don't have a number one. And if you look at Stanley Cup champions, they all have a number one. Maybe Colton can step up and still be that guy, although he's 30 now. And you wonder if at the age of 30 he's going to ascend. But I don't think the Blues have a number one defenseman.
Well, and I mean, that's ancient, right? 30 years old, you might as well hang it up.
Well,
but
30 years old with CD some back issues.
Yes. Oh, no.
You know how long he's had him?
About a week back.
No! That's too many in one day. But with Colton Parayko, I feel like first half of the season, it was really hard to see that because you mentioned the injuries. It almost looked like he was afraid of getting re-injured, and maybe that's just more of a mental thing, right? Because it's hard to find somebody who can go out and replace those minutes. That's not easy to come by, and that's pretty expensive. It would have to come, I assume, via trade or something like that. And I think that they were really hinging on Colton Parayko taking that next step to be that top defenseman moving forward. But now it seems like you kind of have to find that right pairing because Nick Leddy also dropping off last season. I want to see Colton Parayko towards the end of last season because then that felt like more of what we needed to see from him, and hopefully he can take that step forward. Tyler Tucker, I think, is one of those young guys to watch defensively moving forward because he's the type of player that Craig Berube likes, because I think that's important too, is having some of those guys in there. That's why I'm glad to see Sonny back because of how much Craig Berube likes working with him, because he likes those kind of guys, those physical guys. Tucker was able to do that.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at Tyler Tucker, and you want guys that have that energy that when you turn on the film or when you're watching the game, you can see the difference in how they're skating, the energy that they're playing with. I thought you saw that from Toropchenko as well. Like guys that bring it every single night. And again, Colton Parayko definitely looked injured, slower, not really wanting the physical aspect of the game at all, and maybe it was the back issue that was causing that. Hopefully, with the offseason, he was able to get rested, and hopefully we'll see the best version of him this year.
Training camp starting in about a month, and the Blues will get things started in early October for their 23-24 campaign. Brooke, Carrie, Randy, Matthew, and the fight coming your way. Let's see what kind of entertaining questions we have today on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here. This summer, I'm taking up a new hobby, one that I know will last a lifetime, and that is golfing. And I'm learning at the best spot in town. That is Family Golf and Learning Center. I've always wanted to learn how to golf, but was just really intimidated that it would be too hard to learn and didn't even know where to start. But after my first couple lessons with RJ, Melissa, and the wonderful staff over at Family Golf and Learning Center, I was actually able to hit it straight and most importantly, just feel comfortable out there. That's what they do there at Family Golf and Learning Center with several pros on staff. They have the ability to help anyone with their golf game. Like if you're just like me starting out or you want to improve your game, they provide a friendly and encouraging practice experience for the individual and for the family. All abilities and ages are welcome. And how about this? Also, while you're out there, go check out their new Back Nine menu. I went out there to the driving range the other day and had lunch afterwards, and they have this delicious buffalo chicken wrap, and also I got the corn fritters and their adult Capri Sun. It's amazing. So for more information about Family Golf and Learning Center, go to familygolfonline.com. Learn, practice, play your best golf.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals over the weekend do not get swept by the New York Mets thanks to a 7-3 win on Sunday. Dakota Hudson with the start, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned run, 7 strikeouts, and 1 home run allowed. Drew Rom will make his MLB debut for the Cardinals tonight as he starts in Game 1 of 3 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Also over the weekend, St. Louis City SC was back in action, and they had a big win over Austin FC. They complete the season sweep with a 6-3 win on Sunday night. They are back in action coming up on Saturday. They travel to Orlando for their matchup against Orlando City. That is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome to the fight. In the red corner, Average Joe Listener. And in the blue corner, the undisputed king of morning drive. Please welcome Randy Carricker.
Welcome back to the opening drive. I am Kerry Davis, joined by Brooke Grimsley. And it is time.
He's been waiting all weekend for this.
I have waited all weekend for today.
I don't know why I erased you stuck on the board.
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Kerry. How about you?
I'm doing better now that you're on with us. And Friday was a heck of a day for you. You got a victory, a controversial victory, I guess, in the words of one Randy Carricker. But everyone else here, you also said something else, Rocc, that I thought was intriguing. You said we don't want to go into the weekend, you know, in a certain way. I think you meant you.
I think, yes, I agree. Because we were just anchorman over here. We just said Reed. You said, I don't know.
I'm Ron
Burgundy?
Just read what's on the paper. How about that? All right, David, are you ready to take on Randy Carricker?
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go. So who is the only Cardinal to ever play 163 games? Let me start that over. Who is the only Cardinal to ever play in 163 regular season games in a season? Is it Stan Musial, Jose Oquendo, or Albert Pujols?
Stan Musial.
Who is the all-time leader in receiving yards and touchdowns by an undrafted player? Is it Rod Smith, Wes Welker, or Antonio Gates?
Receptions.
Receiving yards and touchdowns by an undrafted player.
Let's go Wes Welker.
Here's a little opening drive, immaculate grid. There are only 2 players to make it into the Hall of Fame while playing for the Broncos and the Cowboys. DeMarcus Ware is one, and who else? Is it Rayfield Wright, Tony Dorsett, or Willie Brown?
Willie Brown.
Jose Altuve just became the 7th active player to reach 2,000 hits, but just the 2nd to do it all with one team. Who is the other player? Is it Andrew McCutchen, Elvis Andrus, or Joey Votto?
Votto.
All right, we will tally the score, and we will bring in Randy Carricker.
Rocc, how you feeling? Oh, sorry.
David, how you feeling? As he goes to get Randy.
Not as good as Friday.
All right. Well, we'll see how Randy Carricker comes into this fight this Monday morning.
Did you celebrate this weekend, David?
Yeah, did you? How did that go?
Yeah. There was no controversy on my end.
Yeah,
there you go.
I love it.
There you go.
Randy, say hello to David again.
David again. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How about you, Randy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
All right, Randy, you ready?
I guess so. I don't know.
Are you
I thought it was ready on Friday, and that
make
didn't
sure
work
you
out
have
so
your
great.
thinking cap on because we may be outside of the box, okay?
I'm ready.
Just make sure you think of all possibilities.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Because you got Gotcha McGee over here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gotcha. Who is the only Cardinal to ever play in 163 regular season games in a season?
Kerry, I believe that would be new Cardinal Hall of Famer Jose Oquendo, who did it, I think, in 1987. He played in a rain out.
Who is the all-time leader in receiving yards and touchdowns by an undrafted player?
Undrafted. So, because I was looking up the touchdowns last week, I think I'm going to go with Antonio Gates of the Chargers. This is a player that, regardless of position, right?
In the NFL.
In the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
NFL.
Thank you.
You never know. You just have to clarify.
That's the AFC and NFC.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go with Antonio Gates. Appreciate that, CD, because you never know.
I just want to make sure. Yeah.
XFL. I mean, XFL too.
Just want to make sure you were aware.
Arena football league.
Here's a little opening drive immaculate grid. There are only 2 players to make it into the Hall of Fame while playing for the Broncos and the Cowboys. DeMarcus Ware is one. Who is the other?
Well, I do know that Tony Dorsett ended his career as a member of the Denver Broncos. I'm thinking Craig Morton probably didn't make the Hall of Fame, although I would put him in an immaculate grid because the percentage would be so low. But I will go, because I know that Tony Dorsett is in the Hall of Fame, with Tony Dorsett playing for the Cowboys and the Broncos.
Jose Altuve just became the 7th active player to reach 2,000 hits, but just the 2nd to do it all with one team. Who is the other player?
2,000 hits, one team. Brooke, I will do the lifeline here.
Andrew McCutcheon?
No.
You're gonna say no in each one? Okay. Elvis Andrus?
No.
Joey Votto?
It's got to be Joey Votto with the Reds, yes. Is that it?
That is it.
This
Unless
is
you want just like a bonus.
This is in Major League Baseball, right?
That is for
This is not in the Japanese leagues?
No, not the Korean league.
It's not the AL and the NL.
Okay.
Not what is it?
Thank
What is it? NPL?
Thank you.
NPL?
We don't know.
Nippon NBL? NBL, I think is what it is. But no, it's
You're
not
thinking
just
of
Major
the
League Baseball.
Nippon Ham Fighters.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Sorry. I keep forgetting what the name of the league is. Well, did Randy remember enough to trounce David in this round 2? Or are we going for a Hall of Fame tomorrow? Ring that bell.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Carricker.
The Fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis. With the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
There we go.
I'm sorry, David, you heard Mr. Buck there, and that means Randy got all 4 right, and he beat you 4-1 today.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for joining the fight, David. Let's go through those answers. Who is the only Cardinal to ever play in 163 regular season games in a season? They've had to play an extra game 5 times in Cardinals history, and in 1989, Jose Oquendo appeared in every single one of them. Who is the all-time leader in receiving yards and touchdowns by an undrafted player? It was Rod Smith for a long time, but then Antonio Gates just kept on calling, and he is now the leader in those 2 stats. Here's a little opening drive immaculate grid. Only two players to make it into the Hall of Fame while playing for the Broncos and Cowboys. It was, in fact, DeMarcus Ware and Tony Dorsett who finished his career as a Bronco. And Jose Altuve just became the 7th active player to reach 2,000 hits, but just the 2nd to do it all with one team. It is, in fact, of course, Joey Votto with the Cincinnati Reds, all 2,000 of those hits. A 4-1 win for Randy Carricker in the fight today. Thank you again, David, for joining the fight and joining the show today.
Thank you, David. We appreciate you being on with us.
Good job, David.
Coming up next on 101 ESPN, we've got a Birdwatch. Yeah, the Cardinals won yesterday. So
You're not going to do any of your soundboards?
I did it all. Didn't you?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, you didn't. You missed the one. You missed the one though.
Oh.
How about that?
He didn't add it. He got to add it.
I got to add that. Yeah.
You gotta add that. I was waiting for that one.
Yeah. So
that needs to be added.
Good job, guys.
I just need the how about that one. That needs to be on the soundboard.
Okay, it'll be on there. Here we go.
How about that?
Yes, that needs to be on your soundboard.
How about
please.
that?
Get it on there.
How about that?
Coming up next, we've got you people are just awful. I can't believe it.
Oh, Randy, you started this.
I know I did. The Birdwatch is next. I want to ESPN. Hey, guys, I need you to know that you need to make sure that you get that air conditioner checked out today. The weather in St. Louis is going to be difficult. You know, it's going to be hot, and that's why you need to get in touch with my friends at Hoffman Brothers at HOFFMANN, HoffmanBros.com, because Hoffman Brothers is going to come out. They'll do a complete look at your air conditioner and make sure that it's good to go for the rest of the hot summer season here in St. Louis. We have been members of the club at Hoffman Brothers for a while now, and they'll come out, especially if you are a member of the club, and they'll provide you an early look. You'll get jumped to the front of the line if you are a member of their home protection club. So give them a call or find them on the web at HoffmanBros.com and make sure that your air conditioner is in good shape. And amazingly, here we are in August. We're only about a month away from getting your furnace checked out too. And we had to buy a new furnace last year, and make sure that your furnace is in good shape for the winter months in St. Louis as well. For any weather eventuality in St. Louis, you need to make sure that your HVAC system is in good shape. And that's why you need Hoffman Brothers, HOFFMANN, HoffmanBros.com.
We're flying down to the field to give you the latest on your St. Louis Cardinals. This is Bird Watch on the opening drive.
It is time for Bird Watch here on 101 ESPN. Brooke, what do you got for us?
It could be a watch or a splat combo for some of these guys, because it's an injury report that I'm doing for my Bird Watch. Oh, no. First, we'll start with Matthew Liberatore, and that's the whole reason why you're seeing Drew Rom, or CD-ROM, as you like to say. Do you think that kids now would not even know what a CD-ROM is?
No idea.
No idea. So that joke just... Right over
their head.
Yeah, they have no idea.
These kids today.
These kids. I know I sound like an old lady. Well, Matthew Liberatore dealing with a back issue. He doesn't think it will be too serious.
When
just
did he
something.
get that?
About a week back.
Okay.
He just wants to be careful. And guys, the back issues are not done, because we also have to talk about Nolan Gorman. He's been dealing with low back tightness. Lars Nootbaar with a lower body injury is what I'm going to call it. Lower body injury. Yeah. They will travel to Pittsburgh. Both are on track to return by the end of the week. That lower body injury, I'm just going to call it that.
That was a really bad injury.
Oh.
And then Dylan Carlson, we touched on this earlier. He's scheduled to visit a specialist to help determine if he should undergo season-ending surgery on his ankle. So that will be something to watch for. Ryan Helsley was supposed to pitch 2 innings on Friday for Memphis, but he felt more tightness in his right forearm and didn't go back for the second inning. Helsley reported that he was feeling better on Saturday. No decision yet on his next steps for his rehab. That's going to be something to really watch and is concerning as you look ahead to next season, because you might need to add another bullpen arm. If he needs surgery, or let's just say knock on wood, I don't know. You don't want him to get Tommy John surgery, but that could be a possibility. You would have to be looking at getting another bullpen arm.
Yeah, I mean, these injuries are piling up, and it brings into question. I think whenever you have a bunch of injuries and guys missing a lot of time, you start to look at everything from the strength and conditioning program to the trainers to really what guys are doing or aren't doing, to cause them to be injured and not miss and not have many games under their belt.
Yeah, and then last one. This is a huge one, honestly. I should have led with this, but I wanted to save the best for last. Wilking Rodriguez on the injured list all season is set to report to Jupiter, Florida on Monday to begin his rehab assignment. But just think about if we would have had a season with Wilking Rodriguez.
Well, Mo said that was one of the guys they were counting on. The two things that really hurt the Cardinals this year, World Baseball Classic and not having Wilking Rodriguez.
You could add Tyler O'Neill loafing it, apparently. That's true. Oh, there's so many things.
So much.
I think Wilking Rodriguez, then World Baseball Classic for ranking things.
Okay.
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah, now he is
1A, 1B?
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. He was in the Rule 5 draft, and he turned 33, and the Cardinals were counting on him. So hasn't pitched before this year in affiliated ball since 2015, 8 years. A veteran of 2 major league games, both with the Royals in 2014. Signed a minor league deal with the Yankees last August, and the Cardinals selected him in the Rule 5 draft. So here you got a 33-year-old guy that hasn't pitched in affiliated ball in 8 years, okay? And the Cardinals were counting on him.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he's going to be good now. And I'm bummed out about Ryan Helsley, who, by the way, did on Friday night, he threw a third of an inning, and I guess it just flared up again. I love and I hate at the same time the conservative nature of the Cardinals. Ryan Helsley's going to have Tommy John surgery. Get it done. Get it over with. Get him back next year.
Do you think that's just the option at this point?
Yeah, whenever you have a forearm and you go that long and you have to leave a game, it's inevitable.
Do you think, because I assume that he has to come to that decision, do you think that's what the holdup is and that the Cardinals should be pushing him more in that direction? Cardinals historically have been pretty conservative about surgery. They really don't want their guys to, but then they all wind up having the surgery anyway. Yeah. So and maybe they're worried too about that could sour the relationship if you're forcing or if they feel forced into it.
If the player
you're hurt.
Forced,
You're hurt. You got to get it taken care of sooner rather than later. And waiting around is only going to cost you more time on the back end. So you'll be waiting. Yeah. Yep. That's fine. I'm going to no. Stay there. I'm good. I'm going to go with the lovely birds because we have young birds. Those are baby birds coming up, and Drew Rom getting his opportunity tonight. We've seen many other pitchers get their opportunities. One thing that I thought was intriguing and really important is the switch of philosophies from the Cardinals pitch to contact to now wanting pitchers with swing and miss stuff. And so Drew Rom, 18 strikeouts in 2 games in Memphis. That's what you're looking for. You see Zach Thompson, who came in and had that 8 strikeout performance a couple of starts ago where he only pitched 4 innings. Dakota Hudson has 19 strikeouts in his 4 starts. You want guys, and that's not as many, obviously, as what Drew Rom is doing, but you want guys to start to have that mentality, that philosophy. And so it's going to be intriguing and interesting to watch how the Cardinals go forward with this pitching staff, with the guys that they bring in. How do they change that philosophy? If you have been coaching or preaching that we want to pitch to contact, now we want guys with swing and miss stuff. Do they go out and look for guys that have that in their arsenal? Are they looking for guys that are able to do that? And we talked about Drew Rom, not even a guy that is going to pitch with the great velocity that most scouts are looking for right now, but able to get guys out. So I think this is going to be fun to watch him tonight and watch how the Cardinals move going forward.
Yeah, I really do like the approach of what baseball has done. They've become a swing and miss. But I think it's important for organizations to learn, and hopefully the Cardinals will learn, that you don't have to have a hard thrower to strike out a lot of guys. C.D. Rom's, at least in the minors, struck out a whole lot more than Jordan Hicks did, throwing 104. So I'm intrigued to see what he's able to do.
And maybe we can get away from this Moneyball mindset of baseball in general. The A's didn't win a championship, did they?
Well, they also never mentioned in the movie Mark pitchers? Mulder or Chip Hudson or Barry Zito.
How hard did they throw?
None of those were really hard throwers.
Like mid-90s. Yeah. Like, that's about the tops that you were going to get.
Yeah,
they were really, really good, though.
Yeah, okay. They're pretty good.
It helps.
I think I'm going the other direction.
What? We've all thrown you a curveball today.
Yeah. Guys, okay, I'll give you some sunshine lollipops.
What?
Okay.
No. It's here.
Oh, no.
Wonderful is when we're together. Unfortunately, the we're together is the Toronto Blue Jays and Genesis Cabrera, who, by the way, has made 14 appearances for Toronto. He has allowed a run in one of them. He has 13 scoreless outings with Toronto and one game where he has allowed a run. Evidently, they are able to find a role that suits Genesis Cabrera.
That's amazing.
Yikes.
I'm confused.
Yikes.
The deadline was August 1st.
Uh-huh.
And it's August 20th.
He was traded before the deadline, though. Well, before the deadline.
With giving him 2 or 3 days between every appearance, though, I don't know how they gotten 14 games in there.
Good point. I don't know.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so he didn't really like his role. And Jordan Montgomery will make his 4th start for the Rangers tonight against Arizona. He's gone exactly six innings in each of his 3 starts so far. He's allowed 2 runs, and 1 run in those starts, and he is performing at a high level. And Jack Flaherty left his last game with a little discomfort, and we don't know when the next time he's going to pitch is. But congratulations to the former Cardinal pitchers who are doing well for their new teams, and hopefully they'll be able to make a lot of money. And, Montgomery and maybe Flaherty. Genesis Cabrera still has 2 years of control from the Toronto Blue Jays.
That's why that whole
And he's
situation
26.
was so weird to me, because you just essentially said, right, that you didn't think that, I guess he wanted a different role and you guys couldn't come to terms on that. And then you see him, you know that it's going to hurt you in some way.
And here's the other thing. When Tyler O'Neill went to them and said, I'd like to play center fielder, they let him play center field.
That's what looks weird.
Yeah, when Genesis Cabrera goes and says, I'm not really happy with my role, they DFA him.
Yeah, that looks a little suspicious.
Yeah, well, yeah, does. You didn't. All right. You didn't mention our good friend Hannes Wagner.
Oh, yeah, DFA'd.
yeah.
I think this might be.
He's batting .068 in Toronto with a 0.136 OPS.
I think that's bad,
That's
CD.
pretty bad.
I think it is.
I don't think. Well, I mean, clearly get much worse, but not much worse.
Well,
This is in 44 at bats. He has 3 hits in 44 at bats.
he's struggling a little bit.
He's scuffling.
Scuffling, yes.
Yeah.
That
Kind of
that's
scuffling.
it.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
scuffling. You wonder if this is the end of the road for Paul DeYoung.
You don't think?
That's
Well, the
unfortunate.
Cardinals are still. I saw some people on social media wondering if the Cardinals would claim him off waivers just for the fact that you're already paying him, essentially.
The Cardinals didn't like his metrics this year. They believe that he has lost a step, and even though they played him until the bitter end, they were kind of down on him at the end.
Yeah.
That's not great.
No.
Keep an eye on these guys that were traded at the deadline. See how great
Yeah,
they
it's always
do or
interesting.
how poorly they do.
I guess you don't have to keep that close of an eye on Paulie D.
No, not now.
Yeah, welcome back to St. Louis, buddy.
Oh, Randy.
What? I'm sure he's listening, driving
No.
around.
Driving around.
He's working hard, man.
Schools have started. He can be a teacher.
I would. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Substitute science teacher.
Yep.
That'd be kind of cool.
It would he
honestly.
be to have him as
Yeah.
he's brilliant.
Yes.
Well, as a science teacher. What? Okay. What was that OPS again? Hello?
0.136.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't need any oh my gods here.
Oh.
Okay? I am stating fact. Am I being unfair? When
You're being honest.
A 136 OPS. It is not good.
It's not great.
No.
So sorry.
Somebody said 44 plate appearances is all it took for them to realize what the Cardinals couldn't in 3 years.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
I refuse to continue laughing. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
look
good
at
luck,
these
buddy.
stats.
Good luck. The rush hour reset's coming your way next on 101 ESPN.
We're redefining private golf.
9:03 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Time for a rush hour reset. The Cardinals 7-3 winners over the Mets yesterday at the ballpark. Dakota Hudson was great. 5 1/3. He allows 2 runs on 5 hits. He struck out 7 and walked 2. 99 pitches. His earned run average now down below 4, 3.95, and he was spectacular. Well, he's been spectacular. He'll get one more start here before August ends, but he has been fantastic. And credit to Dakota Hudson. He went down to the minors. He didn't complain. He got done what he needed to get done, and looks like now he is going to be one of the people, if not the guy, that has an opportunity next year to vie for a spot in the rotation as a 5th starter.
Yeah.
Got to be excited.
The thing with Dakota Hudson is I'm really excited to see what he's able to do, because you need the walks down, and he has been able to display that some in these most recent starts. I just wonder how the Cardinals view him. Do you think that they are really hinging on what he's doing in these few starts, that it will be enough to change their mind? Because it seems like he has kind of fallen out of favor with them. I think that these opportunities this season, I think that they were hoping early on he would be able to factor into 7. He just was scuffling down in the minors.
All he does is win, win, win. And I think that's the thing. 4-0 in August with 3.75. And here's the key. When you talk about the Cardinals being happy with him, 24 innings and only 7 walks. And that's what he needed to do, is cut down on the walks. And, by the way, 19 strikeouts. So, yeah, I think that they have to, if they're reasonable, they have to be happy with him. And you got a choice. You can either bring him back or non-tender him. I don't know that there's much trade value there, and I can't imagine that they'd non-tender him after this performance here in August. The Cardinals also got good offense yesterday from their defending MVP, Paul Goldschmidt.
High fly ball toward left. Nimmo on the run, at the track, at the wall. Hey, it's gone. How did he hit that?
Goldie with the home run. How about that?
And that's how you would have said. You had too much energy when you said with the home run.
How about that?
Yeah, you did have too much energy.
You have
Goldie with the home run.
There you go. I mean,
Cards in Pittsburgh tonight, by the way.
Good for them. Drew Rom getting his first start. I'm excited. Just the thing, Brooke, you asked, do you think that they have run out of favor with Dakota Hudson? I think no. I think this team has shown the time and time again that they're going to give guys opportunities, whether it be from injury, whether it be from poor play. Guys are going to get opportunities. And I think when you're looking at Dakota Hudson, what he's done, I don't think most people would know unless you're just really dialed in that he's 5-0 this season. Because as you said, Randy, you watch him, but you don't really consume him in that manner. Mm-hmm. You consume him, but you don't watch him. And so knowing that he can, he's already had success in this league, I think you're probably, if you're the Cardinals, you're leaning towards starting spring training with him as your 5th starter. Because it just makes sense, because he has somewhat of a track record as doing it, been in the league since 2018. He knows kind of the rigors of what it means to be a 5th starter, going out there every 5th day and taking care of your business, as opposed to those younger guys. And when you're looking at what this Cardinals team has for the future, we talked about it during the break. One of my concerns has been and will continue to be until I see what we're going to do in terms of free agency or via trade. Mm-hmm. You talked about bringing in three pitchers, supposed to be 3 starters from outside of the organization. Okay, let's see what that looks like. And until we see what that looks like, I'm not going to be, I guess, moved in a way that makes me feel like this team has gotten better, because you just don't know what you're going to get from these younger guys. You got Miles Michaelis, maybe Steven Matz is back in that rotation, but he's dealing with an injury. What's wrong with him, Randy?
Back.
Shoot. How long has
he
been
back?
back?
Oh, my God.
Back, yeah.
No more. The training staff, priority this offseason, lower back issues, no more.
Figure that out. So you don't know if Steven Matz is going to be in that rotation, but just figuring out what this rotation looks like, because pitching is what's going to allow you to win and be successful in this division, and it has to happen.
And that's what you want to see, right? It's just going to be concerning because I wonder with Ryan Helsley, and you're predicting what you think possibly, and it does sound like that, right? Tommy John surgery. Then you will have to possibly also look at another bullpen arm. I wouldn't be surprised. I think it can go one of two ways, where if Dak continues to perform this way, they'll say, well, you know, we said that we were going to go get 3 starters, but honestly, with this competition, we think that we like what we've seen from Dak. Or it could go the way of we will get 3 starters. Or maybe with this whole Ryan Helsley thing, 2 starters and then go get a bullpen arm. There's a lot of different ways it can play out. I just think that if you go out and you do say one thing, that you should probably stick to that because your gut instinct is typically right. So if there's something in you that was saying, even before seeing these recent performances from Dak, that we need to go out and get 3 starters, then I assume that you need to continue to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You still need to do it. Cardinal Hall of Fame yesterday, Jose Oquendo and Max Lanier were inducted. Guys, I was 33 years old. I turned 61 over the weekend. I was 33 years old when the Cardinals hired Tony La Russa as their manager. Wow. And I saw him yesterday, and he's almost 79 now, and he doesn't color his hair anymore. And I don't color my hair. And I thought, wow, we got old.
You know what's crazy? I look at, like, my nieces and nephews, my little cousins, and I'm like, oh, they're my age when it scares you.
Yeah, it does.
I'm my aunts and uncles' age when I was there. Oh, my God, how did this happen?
I know I'm on the back 9.
How did we get here?
The back 9. Don't say that stuff, Randy.
Well, I am.
Don't say that.
Okay, well, see, if you have, even if you live to be 90, once you get to be 45, you're on the back 9.
Oh, man. I'm approaching that.
Right? Just saying.
That really worries me, Randy, because usually about the 13th hole is when I'm like, I'm kind of done with this.
Hey, I'm more worried than you are. Good win last night. A wild game. MLS contest at City Park. City SC over Austin FC by a score of 6-3. And the City SC got some great work out of Nico.
Finley can offload. Leuven has it. And Leuven sprays it beautifully to the onrushing Gioacchini. Nico Gioacchini now. Standing up Cascante. Gioacchini! Jackson lofts it beautifully. Rasmus Alm has Gioacchini inside. Alm crosses. Gioacchini! Oh, what a save! Second time around. Pounced home from Gioacchini.
How about that?
Wow, that was kind of a difference in that last call.
How about that?
Now, that was energy. It was matching the energy of the crowd, which fantastic job of everybody who went out to the City SC game last night. I know that it was extremely hot, even though it was nighttime. But the energy that the fans brought and also the players after 3 weeks off, carrying that momentum in was huge for them. And we keep talking about this team being without Klaus, but at this point, of course you want to see Klaus back, but the way that they're able to perform and have guys continue to step up like this, even in his absence, I think says so much about the depth of this club.
Yeah, no doubt. They have a chance to do some really great things in postseason. But so the goals from Gioacchini made it 3-0 in the 50th minute, and then in the last 40 minutes of action, there were 6 tallies, 3 for each side, and St. Louis City SC wins it by a score of 6-3. Adeniran with a pair. Thomas Ostrak also had one, and Will Bruin, DeSmet star, former DeSmet star.
Oh yeah,
and, Matthew
Trader.
Yeah, Trader.
Yeah.
So Matthew, what do you think of Will Bruin scoring for Austin, for the other team, for the other side?
Randy, as you know, I'm very still tied into my high school rivalry. So a DeSmet guy in the first place, I'm pretty angry already. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was pretty steamed up. How could he? How dare he? What a traitor.
Well, here's the thing. So he's from St. Louis, all right?
How about that?
Played Scott Gallagher, I believe. He's in St. Louis, playing in St. Louis's stadium. Don't whine to the officials. Don't come here. Don't come here and get up all in the officials' face at City Park. Okay, do it at Columbus. Do it in New England. Do it at Philadelphia. Do it Dallas FC. Don't do it in St. Louis, buddy, because we want to like you. We do. So don't score against us, and don't get all up in the referee's face.
He's got to score.
Yeah.
He wanted to win.
Somewhere else. No,
he didn't want to
win. No, not against his home team.
Trust me. We came in here and played the Rams. I didn't give a damn who was there. And I told my family, if you're cheering for them, you're not going.
Oh.
Yeah. I bought 35 tickets.
That was different.
Oh, my God.
St. Louis City SC is actually
Yeah, then
trying.
they better cheer for you.
St. Louis City SC is trying here.
Oh, the Rams weren't trying in 2007? Yes and no?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, and 65. Still, even Cleveland couldn't beat that record with an 0-16. So the St. Louis Rams and Cleveland are tied for the worst 5-year stretch in the history, the long history of the National Football League, 15 and 65. There is your Rush Hour Reset here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, he is a Peter Alonso. He became more of a villain this weekend here in St. Louis. But who are the best historical villains in sports history? Could Snidely Whiplash make the list? That's next on 101 ESPN.
I feel horrible. I feel awful. I didn't mean to
I didn't. I know it sounds stupid, but it is just a bad brain fart. I know throwing the ball in the stands that robs them of a kind of a really special moment. But I feel really bad thinking back on my first hit and just getting the ball thrown back to the dugout. I feel awful. I feel like a piece of crap.
What Pete Alonso did was a jerk move. But, we can't get too mad about it since he said he didn't realize that was the guy's first hit. So all I can say is us as fans have to remember you can't fix stupid.
Janet, thank you so much for the
Janet so much.
mic drop. Yeah, she's great. Use the mic drop feature with the 101 ESPN app. You can also text us, the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Don't forget, you can watch us on the YouTube if you aren't already. It's the thing that all the kids are doing these days. Just go to youtube.com and type in 101 ESPN STL, and we would love to have you watch the show on the YouTube. Well, Pete Alonso was throwing the ball in the stands after Mason Wynn did pick up his first major league hit.
Mason Wynn, the youngest shortstop since Gary Templeton to play for the Cardinals. Little chopper hit toward third. That ball is going to be late at first. Infield hit for Mason Wynn. There's his first in the big leagues tonight.
We talked all about the skill set of Mason Wynn. We told you about the speed. Shows off some of it right there for his first major league hit as his family looks on and cheers. The Wizard cheering for the young Mason Wynn.
And after Alonso threw the ball into the stands were loud and vociferous and angry at Pete Alonso. He got booed every time he stepped to the plate the rest of the night. That was great to see. And then he explained himself afterward. And by the way, the person that got the ball in the stands did wind up giving it back. And Mason Wynn got it back after a little wheeling and dealing took place. But this brings to mind, because Pete Alonso has a history with the Cardinals, right? He got into the little scrap where he got tackled hard by Stubby Clapp. Mm-hmm. And then he said, I can put people in the hospital and things like that. Yeah, come on.
Put people in the hospital.
Come on, people. And that's when Matt Holliday said, sweet hairdo, Alonso. So it was pretty good. But you think about some of the people that have become real villains on the St. Louis sports scene. Some of the opponents that have. Nazem Kadri?
Yes.
Who is one?
Oh, Nazem Kadri for sure is a great villain.
He's enemy number one.
He was at the time. Brent Seabrook and Duncan Keith. Seabrook running David Backus into the corner, and Keith saying, wakey, wakey, Backus, who lay on the ground prone with a concussion. Wakey, wakey, Backus. He's asleep.
Sports. Randy, let me tell you something. Some of the things that I've heard on that football field are not safe for work.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Rodney Harrison tearing up Trent Green's knee in the summer of 1999, rolling up on the back of Trent Green's knee. Yeah, brutal.
Yeah,
dirtiest player in the league.
But it worked to the benefit of the Rams.
It did. But at the time,
it was really bad.
Pretty bad. And then the other one I have that's fun is Brandon Phillips.
Oh, yeah. We're already getting that one in. Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Brandon Phillips. Your favorite one off.
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, Snidely Whiplash? Yeah, I was doing more on-field stuff, but Kroenke's the greatest villain, not only in the history of St. Louis sports, but in the history of St. Louis.
And there's some guys like you love to hate, right? Like if they're on your team, you're happy about it because you kind of want your team to have that edge. I think Tommy Pham can kind of be in that category. We saw everything that happened from this weekend. If you haven't already, it's all over social media. Let's just say don't mess with Tommy Pham. How about we put that there? And even Tom Wilson.
Don't bring a knife to. Well, I guess if
you can bring a knife. He's
been stabbed.
He has
Johnny
been stabbed.
Cueto.
Oh, Johnny Cueto. Yeah.
Hey, what was the catcher when he kicked him?
It was LaRue.
LaRue. Yeah.
Ended his career.
Ended his career. Yeah. Not bad. Not great.
Yeah. Same fight. The Brandon Phillips started.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many. Even you could put Jordan Bennington in the love to hate category because we love him here, and we love him here in St. Louis, CD. But I'm talking about the other teams. He is, when it comes to anything that he does, it's going to get national media attention. Anything that he does, because people love to hate him, or they just hate him.
The cool thing is to be hated. Like Tony La Russa was always the most hated guy because the Cardinals always won. Teams hated the Cardinals. Everybody else hated the Cardinals because they always won. And Tony had kind of a prickly attitude and demeanor. So other teams and other fan bases took note of that. And he was a really despised guy around the National League, and it was great. Hey, same thing with the Greatest Show on Turf with Martz, and the way that he was just so animated when his team would score, and teams hated the Rams because they were just so darn good.
What about nationally, like throughout the league? Alex Rodriguez is on that list.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I think T.O. was on that list.
T.O., yeah. Well, someone just texted in the Patriots.
In general.
Just as a whole.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Tom Brady.
And, well, Belichick.
Yeah.
And I think Kadri fits in hockey. Kadri fits that mold. You know, you've had the Matt Cooks of the world over the years, and Kadri is that current guy in hockey. And you know who else is that guy? That we love him here and probably listen. Matthew Tkachuk. Teams do not like Matthew Tkachuk, which is great. That's one of the reasons you'd love to have him on your team.
Yep. You want that guy playing with you.
Randy, somebody in their text listed Rod Smith. I know we listed Rod Smith in the fight earlier. Is it a different Rod Smith? Or are they really mad at a Southeastern Missouri quarterback and Broncos wide receiver for no apparent reason?
I don't know why
Please explain this.
We'd be mad at Rod Smith, of all things.
The guy balled out at Southeast Missouri State.
Yeah. So.
I think in the tennis world, Nick Kyrgios is another very interesting figure. If you haven't seen him play, he embraces the villain role. And in tennis, having played that my whole life, there's definitely like these unwritten rules where you shouldn't do certain things. He doesn't care about any of that. He is just going to find a way to beat you, even if it's not the typical way or kind of tennis etiquette way of doing it. He is very much a villain and embraces that.
Do you think Koepka is a villain in golf?
Yes.
I think he kind of fits that mold also.
Yes.
Is DeChambeau a bigger villain, or do people just hate? Like, is there difference between being hated and being a villain in that way?
I don't think that DeChambeau wants to be a villain. I think that's the thing. Is he does weird stuff. I think
he does weird stuff.
He does. But Koepka, I think, is the true in that battle. Koepka's, he's the one that rolled his eyes when DeChambeau was walking behind him and stuff. I think Koepka is more of a villain than Bryson is. Bryson doesn't like being a villain.
Yeah, I think Phil Mickelson, just with that Tiger documentary that was on HBO Max, where it was kind of revealed this kind of hatred or envy that he had toward Phil Mickelson, that was interesting. Or I think it was was it his mom or his dad that were just like, he's out of shape. Why is he doing this? It's just very interesting because I think Phil, especially with everything that has happened with Liv, is kind of in that love to hate category for some people.
I think so. Is there a guy that in basketball, because there's like Ron Artest was that guy in basketball for a long time.
Dennis Rodman.
And Rodman was. Is there a guy now?
I think LeBron is a villain.
I was going to bring up his name.
Draymond Green.
Yeah, Draymond's a guy.
Draymond's a villain. Everyone hated Rudy Gobert after COVID.
Yeah,
well, with good cause. I mean, that was just
it was
pure
fair.
ignorance.
It was fair that everyone didn't
ignorance.
like him. Oh yeah, it was, and that's just Donovan Mitchell hated him for it.
Yeah,
so did I.
Yeah.
That'll get you traded.
Other NBA guys, though, that's a good one. I don't think there's really anybody
Bobby
else.
Portis was on that list when he broke. Was it?
He broke his teammate's job. Yeah. He's out of the Mirotic.
Was it Mirotic or
it was Nikola Mirotic?
Yeah,
Nikola Mirotic.
Patrick Beverly. Someone just said
that's a good one. Yeah, Pat Bev. That's good.
Pat Bev.
Yeah.
People hate
and
Pat
in baseball
Bev.
right now, here obviously Alonso is the guy. I think generally Alonso is the cuddly polar bear. I think around baseball, people generally like Alonso, and I don't know if there's a current major league player that fits the mold of a villain. That where Bonds every day. Bonds got booed every day.
Oh well, yeah. I don't think booing I don't see anybody getting that. But I think Tommy Pham can ruffle some feathers, and because he's very opinionated and he's not going to hold things back. He just is unapologetically himself, and some people appreciate that, and some people don't.
Right.
I think maybe Castellanos can be a little bit of a polarizing character.
Yeah, he does. Standing over Jake Woodford.
Yeah.
Anybody in the NFL?
It's such a nice league now. You don't have any Vontaze Perfects running around.
The nice, fun league.
Yeah. Someone said Grayson Allen in basketball, which I couldn't agree more.
I forgot about that.
Cheap shot artist. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
I would elbow him in his throat.
He came off annoying. Yes.
Yeah, because the cheap shot artists, Rodney Harrison, Vontaze Perfect aren't in the league anymore.
Yeah, but see, guys like that, back in our day, you could catch those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And really do damage. And it'd be glorious. It's just justice.
Is the biggest villain in the NFL right now Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know if he's a villain
It would
anymore.
have to be, yeah.
I don't know. This whole move to New York has kind of softened him. Him and Sauce Gardner, he giving them chains and going out to Knicks games and meeting people and things. Sauce Gardner, sometimes people can give you a softer edge as opposed to what you came in with. I think Sauce has helped him with that.
I think Antonio Brown was interesting towards the end. There was a lot happening there.
Well, I mean, Jerry Jones.
Jerry.
We just got to keep just as long as Jerry Jones is there, we'll still have somebody in the NFL we can hate.
Yeah. I was hoping that it would be Dan Campbell, but his knee biting is actually it's endearing.
Vrabel? No. Mike Vrabel is a good guy.
What?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Good guy.
How dare you?
Former Patriot. He's still got the Patriot stank on him.
Yeah. You hated Bruce, didn't you, Randy? You hated Bruce when he was playing, didn't you?
Jerk. He's the worst. Yeah.
This is tough. I don't think.
In the NFL currently?
Yeah, there aren't many. Now that Dan Snyder's gone.
People just get angry that people in the NFL who aren't good still have a job. That's no one gets.
Are we forgetting about the biggest one in the NFL,
mad
guys?
at bad players.
I was waiting for somebody to bring it up, other than me, because I feel like I've talked about it a million times. Deshaun Watson.
For only half the audience.
Oh, I mean, yeah. If we want to go to that part of the Deshaun Watson, Frank Clark, Joe Mixon.
Is Josh McDaniels still? Joe Mixon got they dropped the charges against him.
Oh no, he did something in Oklahoma. I'm still kind of
McDaniels is just. I think one of the things you have to be reasonably good to be a villain.
Okay.
I think McDaniels is just so
He's
inept.
just a guy.
Yeah, makes it
jag.
tough. Yep. So, but Pete Alonso fitting the bill right now here in St. Louis.
Somebody asked, is Fernando Tatis Jr. a villain because of the PEDs?
No.
He just had ringworm.
Yeah, that's all he was trying to.
Literally.
Yeah, trying to take care of himself. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, we've got NFL news and notes for you.
Hey, it's Kerry, and if you're dealing with pain, I've got some great news for you. I know all about pain. I've had multiple surgeries, knee surgery, shoulder surgeries, hip surgery, and I thought I'd have to deal with this pain forever until I met Dr. Sheen, and he taught me about PBM. What is PBM? Well, it's a big word. It's an easy explanation. It's photobiomodulation. To put it simply, it is light therapy that helps you heal. The light stimulates cells in the damaged area, which allows your body to heal itself faster. It decreases inflammation, and it helps eliminate pain and discomfort. I thought I was going to have elbow surgery, and then I started getting this PBM. I couldn't tell you the last time my elbows have been in pain. My physical therapist told me I have so much less inflammation than I had in the past, and we all know inflammation causes pain, and that's what the PBM targets. It gets that inflammation down. It makes you feel better. It allows you to do the workouts you were able to do 5, 10, 15 years ago. If you want to feel better, you need to reach out to Dr. Sheen today at thesvi.com. That's thesvi.com, and tell them Kerry sent you.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals avoided the sweep from the Mets yesterday with a 7-3 win. They are back in action today, starting a 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a 6:05 first pitch for the Cardinals, and it'll be the rookie making his debut for the Cardinals, Drew Rom. He'll face off against Bailey Falter for the Pirates. Falter on the season 0-7 with a 4.86 ERA. Also over the weekend, St. Louis City back in action in league play. They win 6-3 over Austin FC to complete the season sweep. They are back in action this upcoming Saturday in Orlando, facing off against Orlando City. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Time for NFL news and notes. If you didn't see it over the weekend, Brock Purdy returned at quarterback for the Niners and was terrific against Denver. He goes 4 of 5 during a 10-play, 69-yard field goal drive. 4 of 5 for 65 on the drive. And after the game, Coach Kyle Shanahan said, I don't think he had a bad play. That's always a good thing when you're a quarterback and your coach says he doesn't think he had a bad play.
That's awesome. I mean, him coming back from that elbow injury, which, possibly derailed the 49ers season there in the NFC Championship game. If he's able to play, that game is obviously much closer, but we didn't know what to expect after that injury. So him being healthy, running that offense as effectively as he can and has been, that is a really good team and a team you should be watching out for with him there being healthy.
Jordan Love is somebody that's very interesting right now. The Packers announcing that he will play again in a preseason finale. How do you think that he fits into things with the Packers, and could they be contenders this season with him?
I really like Jordan Love. I think, that time that he had to sit on the bench and watch and kind of figure things out from a learning young player standpoint, being able to be in the same offense with the same offensive philosophy for going into his 4th season, obviously that's beneficial. So I think this Packers team is going to be better than a lot of people think that they would be or should be, because it's his first year being an everyday, every week starter, but he's been watching and learning and just waiting for his opportunity. I think they're going to be a really good team.
The Patriots were supposed to practice with the Titans this week, but Bill Belichick decided not to, I think because he's afraid. He told his radio show on WEEI in Boston today that I just felt like for a number of reasons it was the best thing to do for the team. So Tuesday and Wednesday, now the Titans have to move to doing regular practices. I think at the end of the day, I think New England's just afeard.
He doesn't want to face one of his old mentees?
But why schedule it in the first place?
I think they had a player get injured. The Patriots did in that game, and he had to get carted off. It was really scary. So, and they actually suspended the game versus the Packers. So maybe that had something to do with it. When you have guys get injured, go to the hospital, that's one of the scariest things we saw. The worst part of it when we saw DeMar Hamlin last year, but we often see guys, injured, have to be put on the cart, have to be stretchered off. And as a teammate, watching that happen to one of your teammates, it is really, it's troubling to watch them. You don't know what's going to happen, how they're going to respond. So that may have something to do with it, where they just want to get back to themselves and worry about focusing on what they need to do to get prepared for the season.
What do you think about supermodel and also Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo? Jimmy G made his debut this past Saturday with the Raiders. What do you think of the supermodel out there?
I don't know. I don't know what.
Could he not be a supermodel? I'm just saying.
No, he's a supermodel.
I don't know what I don't have high expectations for the Raiders. They're in a conference, in a division that is supposed to be pretty tough. They got some really good quarterbacks in that division. I just don't know if the Raiders, and then we don't know what is Josh Jacobs doing. If you don't have the league leading rusher in your backfield, and you got a quarterback that is often injured, I don't have high expectations for the Raiders this year, just because I don't know if they even made an upgrade from Derek Carr to Jimmy G. I feel like they might have made a downgrade. I think Derek Carr doesn't get enough credit.
There has been reports going around on Twitter today that there's sources saying he's going to report now for week
Josh
1.
Jacobs?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, nobody wanted to miss out on no money.
That's how it always goes.
Hey, me. I ain't got to play.
Yeah.
No, my body's feeling a little bit better. I'll see you all there week 1.
Booker McFarland, Steve Young out on Monday Night Countdown for ESPN. Ryan Clark is still there. Marcus Spears will join the show, and Scott Van Pelt will be the host, replacing Susie Kolber, who was also deposed earlier this summer by ESPN.
I'm still upset about Susie. She is such a legend, and I know that she will continue to go on to do great things, but that is such a huge loss for ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, it's... The show changes, feels like every few years, so we'll see what they bring to the table. I like watching that pregame show. I like watching the energy that they have on the field. I liked seeing Adam Schefter do his Kirk Cousins dance, and so they have a good time.
His little dancey dance?
Yeah, with
little
the chains.
dancey dance. I also miss the Booger Mobile.
Yeah, and the Boogermobile was fun when he was doing the sidelines.
There was so much controversy surrounding the Boogermobile.
That was intriguing.
I didn't know what to make of that, but it was different, and I thought it was funny. Not funny for the people who were in front of him trying to watch the game, but or behind him, I guess I should say.
I guess ESPN television, because they have so many layoffs and have had, it's inevitable that they're going to have so much turnover on their pregame show. But think about the Fox pregame show. It's Terry, it's Howie, it's Jimmy, and has been for years. Yeah. And then the CBS pregame show, it's turned over a little bit, but it's been Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms and Coach Cowher. He's been there for years. And it seems like every year there's changes to the ESPN Monday Night Countdown show. And I think that there's some value in consistency because, like, Brooke, at your age, you don't remember Terry Bradshaw playing. Do you remember Jimmy Johnson coaching?
No,
I do. Year as a coach
but I love. Of course, I know Terry Bradshaw and like what he was able to do as a player. But I had so much fun watching him as a broadcaster because of just the energy and the way that he breaks things down, and he's funny too. So I just appreciate that.
Him and Lee Corso, they're like one and the same. Just hilarious, fun.
Yeah.
Say whatever they want to say.
Which is great because I think that's a new way to usher in, where the younger generation can also appreciate who they are.
And ESPN TV has the Ravens against the Commanders tonight. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, you'll be able to watch that one on the big ESPN. Those are NFL news and notes on 101 ESPN. Coming up, we're going to head down the stretch with a little edition of Rocc and Roll here on the opening drive. Hey, if you want a great lunch today, I want you to head to the Fenton Bar and Grill on Rudder Road in Fenton. I always try to make it a point to get to the Fenton Bar and Grill at least once a week for a great lunch. You can have business lunches there, or just get together with buddies. You can go there to watch games. They have great food. You'll love their burgers. You'll have sensational wraps there, and their trashed wings are the best wings in town. You'll adore their trashed wings. But in addition to that, you have great service from people like Megan and Kelly and Colleen, and Jamie is new there, and she'll be around later in the week. Alicia will be working, and everybody at Fenton Bar and Grill is a sports fan, and that's the cool thing. You're listening to a sports show. You go to the Fenton Bar and Grill, and you're going to enjoy great food. You're going to enjoy great company, great service, and great people. You'll find somebody to talk to at the Fenton Bar and Grill. Learn more. Find out their menu and what it has for you at FentonBarandGrill.com. Very easy to get to. Just go to the soccer park and follow the pathway down Rudder Road to the Fenton Bar and Grill. And when you stop by, tell them Randy sent you. Hey, one of the great things to do to maintain and increase the value of your home is to get a project done on a reasonably regular basis every 2 or 3 years. And if you want a great outdoor project for your home, you need to get in touch with my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They're at ChesterfieldFence.com. You can give them a call at 800-300-4054. And at Chesterfield Fence and Deck, they'll do a great job on your fence, whether you need a replacement or if you are just moving into a house and you need to keep the dogs or the kids in the yard. They'll do a fantastic job with their cedar or vinyl fences. Even a chain link fence, they'll do a fantastic job. They do great jobs on decks, again, cedar or vinyl, or a sunroom or a screen room. Maybe you want to put a ceiling fan in and enclose that deck. Well, they'll do it for you at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. You can find them at 800-300-4054 or on the web at chesterfieldfence.com. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've been around for 55 years, locally owned and operated. You got to be doing things right if you've been around for that long, and they have been at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Find them at chesterfieldfence.com. Call 800-300-4054. Tell them Randy sent you. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
Before we get to Rock and Roll, a major announcement from Brooke Grimsley.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know if it's a major announcement. It's an announcement.
Okay, well, just
a little announcement.
Okay, an announcement from Brooke Grimsley.
There you go.
The Flash, apparently official from Brooke.
The announcement is that we have a new episode of Balk About It coming out. Woo-hoo! That is out right meow. And you guys can go see it. It's on YouTube.
Did you say right meow?
Right meow. Meow. Right meow. You can go see it. It is on 101 ESPN. You can listen to it. You can watch us. We're pretty funny, I guess, if you watch us on the YouTube. You can find it on 101 ESPN. It's a new episode with Polo Asensio, the Cardinals Spanish broadcaster, where we, of course, talk about Mason Wynn. Mm-hmm. We talk about Mason Wynn, what we kind of hope to see from him, what we hope the Cardinals do with him. We also talk about the Cardinals getting 3 starting pitchers because Polo has been really high on Julio Urias, and so we discussed that, just his thoughts on Julio, and if he thinks that it should be Julio or Aaron if they do go after somebody, which I hope that they would. And also, we're planning a karaoke night, and we're going to get Katie Woo involved because Polo and Katie Woo traveled together to Kansas City recently, and he said that she's an amazing singer, Katie Woo of The Athletic, which everybody should know. But we are going to make a karaoke night happen. So if you guys want to come, because I think somebody else... Yeah, this is where I was going with this, because I was going to say, because I think somebody else in here is a really good singer. Where are you looking, Carrie?
Rocc, you? No?
No, how do can I zoom in on a camera on here, right? Is it? Do a really quick zoom.
The only good singer in this room, I would assume, unless one of you two has a secret talent.
No, not really.
Yeah.
So, CD had professional aspirations. We're fortunate to have Carrie Davis here in the studio with us because you've got music like out on the market, right?
It's out, but it's more in than out. It's with me. I keep it close to me.
Okay, good.
What are you doing, man?
Are you a karaoke?
What are you over there doing? What are you doing, man?
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I bet you kill karaoke, right?
I have fun, just have a good time.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
I don't necessarily have one.
Oh, so you're so good that whatever comes up, it's just
go.
like.
Hey, come on, Rock. I can hear your body calling. Yeah. I've been patient to get you. That's enough. Just throw it at me.
Okay.
Show you what it can be.
We're all dancing.
Alrighty.
CD was ready to kill. We were dancing over here. So anyways, you're a part of our karaoke night with Polo, Katie Woo, and I. You're going to be a part of it. You will probably be the highlight because I will be the low light.
Oh, well.
I think I could be a lower light than you.
Karaoke is just about having fun.
Okay, let's do it. Good.
I'm all for it.
So let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about it. So go check it out. We like to have fun. We talk about things with the Cardinals, Major League Baseball, but also we just try to keep things fun and light. And it usually goes off topic, too.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
That never happens on the radio show.
No.
Never.
No.
How about that?
All right, Matthew, what do you got for us?
Nothing I have is going to beat us breaking out to a mini dance party to the dulcet tones of Carrie Davis.
Back in my young days.
Was that an original song,
I'll
by the
create
way?
a dance routine to that.
That was pretty good. I like that. Yep. I'm glad we cut it off.
I can dance. No, I'm going to come up with a dance routine.
Yeah. I wanted to bring to your guys' attention, this is kind of insane, 3 little pieces of drama that came out of the Women's World Cup over the weekend because this is kind of crazy. The coaching staff and the Spanish national team did not celebrate together after the win because the team hates the manager. Jorge Vilda is the manager, and he will go down as the World Cup winning manager for Spain's first ever Women's World Cup, but his players hate him. There's been a lot of accusations. They sent a letter back in October to the Federation complaining about his management style, what he says to the players, all this kind of stuff. He then selected only 3 of what everyone considered the best 15 players for this World Cup roster. They still ended up winning anyhow. And then you could see it actually when they won. There was a celebration for the coaching staff, and then there was a celebration for the players on a completely opposite side of the field. It then gets worse because the leader of the Spanish Federation during the World Cup celebration grabs the captain and leading scorer of Spain all time for the women's side, grabs her by both sides of her face and kisses her, which she did not want. He then called everyone who was complaining about it idiots for not understanding why he did it, and has now since come out and said, the comments that I made and the actions that I said have hurt people and I apologize for them. Which you'd think that'd be the end of it, but there's a third piece of drama. This is from the opposite side, from the English side, because where was the World Cup played this year? It was in Australia and New Zealand. We know a little bit about history. There was once a country that used to kind of run those two giant islands / continents. That was England. They were playing in the Women's World Cup, and the president, officially, of the Football Association is usually a royal. And there were no royals in attendance in Australia by the entire English royal family. William, who is technically the president of the FA, didn't fly to a country that, again, is part of their Commonwealth to watch his team participate in the Women's World Cup. Apparently, Spain has a queen, by the way. I learned that when I was doing research for this. She was in attendance for Spain's club to watch them actually win it all. But, I mean, Prince William just completely says, nah, I can't take a flight. The reason, I won't call it an excuse, the reason he gave for not being in attendance as his country was competing for a World Cup, he's trying to reduce his carbon footprint and didn't want to take a private flight from England all the way to Australia.
Nice. Good for him.
Yes.
And you didn't even throw in that Olga Carmona, who scored the winning goal, found out after the championship game that her dad had passed away. She didn't know, plays the game without that knowledge, and then they tell her right after the game that her dad passed away. So there's more drama.
There might be a reason why the players don't like the coaching staff or the Spanish Federation.
Yeah, I don't.
There might be a couple reasons, and I think we might have figured out a few of them. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff coming out of the Women's World Cup that's honestly insane. I don't think I've ever seen a team be this against their coach before. And I don't know if I'm forgetting an obvious example here of a team that so outwardly hates their coach that when he tried to join the celebrations of the players, everyone completely ignored him. Like, he's jumping up and down and no one's looking at him. No one's touching him. No one's going for a high five. Everyone just ignores that he's there.
And two things. Number one, either they have a lot of really good players or he's a really good coach taking 3 of the top 15. And to get a team that hates you to win any sort of championship, even if it's this big, if it's a World Cup, to get that team that hates him to play well enough to win says a lot about his coaching ability, too. So even though people hate him, if you're winning, they won.
It doesn't, I mean, you can figure something else out.
Imagine what he could do with the top 15 players from a nation and a team that likes him.
Yeah, really.
Although apparently, if you read the complaints, he is kind of a jerk,
kind of a Richard.
Yeah,
like kind of a little bit of a Pete,
kind of a
Peter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, some other news from international things. The United States has finished up their exhibition play for the FIBA World Cup. Anthony Edwards leading them over Germany with over 30 points. They finished 5-0. I tell you what, Kerry, this roster, high-powered and ready to go for this FIBA World Cup.
Oh, sorry, what'd you say? I fell asleep there when you're talking about the roster.
Germany had them. They were fortunate that Edwards exploded.
They were down by 16. Does that bother you?
No.
Being down by 16 to Germany?
You have higher expectations than I do. And so I'm just,
We're still the best in the world.
Yeah, but it's not our best, Rocc. It's not our best. It's not our best people. We got people that don't even start on their own team.
The MVPs the last few years have not been Americans. So
there you go.
I don't know what you want me to do about it, Kerry.
Great job today by our producer, audio engineer, the one, the only Matthew Rocchio. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
Brooke, this has been fun.
This has been.
How's your back feeling?
Okay, pretty good.
My back is strong. I'm not going to play into this.
You already did. We gotcha. Gotcha, McGee.
Yes,
CD.
gotcha, McGee.
Hey, wait a second.
And we appreciate you tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. We've got a balloon party with T-Mac and Ajax coming up for all of us until tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great day, St. Louis.
That's right.